Akash, for the recording, you just drop an email to admin@designpathshala.com. If you have skipped any session or if you want to relook into any of the session, just drop an email. They will share you a link where the session is being shared, and your ID, your corresponding ID from whomsoever you will send an email will be given and rights to view that link.
Okay, perfect.
Right. So just mention the class which you want to look into and your email ID. I request you to give a Gmail ID so that you can directly view it. Just drop an email ID and class name to them, and they will share you the link from where you can access it.
Okay, perfect. Thanks.
So, are you able to install the sandbox and then try to log into the box?
I was able to do it, yes, and I ran a few commands and looks okay so far.
Oh, great. Sounds great. And Abhijat, I think you were facing some issues. Your virtualization was disabled. So I'm just unmuting everyone for time being. Oh, he's not connected via web, I think. I can't unmute him. Okay, other people will keep on joining in. So let's start. Let's try to recap what we discussed in the previous session, and then once people join in, we'll start also. So, can anyone tell me what are the three phases in map and reduce lifecycle? What are the three phases which we discussed in Mapreduce lifecycle?
Yeah, map, shuffle, and reduce.
Okay, and what your shuffle and sort phase basically does?
Shuffle basically moves, sorts data between different nodes and similar data. And
yeah, it sorts. That's one of the major functionality. But other than that, there's one more thing which it implements for us, which is related to how the data goes to your reducer part.
sorry,
I think collects the data.
Sorry?
I think it collects the data and groups the data.
Yes, it groups the data based on the hash key. You can say grouping. Basically, it buckets your data based on the hash key of the hash value of the key, and with the help of that, the reducer which is intended for that data, the data goes to that reducer. Okay, that's good.
I don't remember. Did we talk about combine? I was reading.
Yeah, if you remember, if you recall, we did talked about how the hash and how the hash works and how the data is bucketed. And if the data is bucketed, there is a reducer intended to read for the bucket or intended to process the data related to that bucket, and that's ensure that similar map keys reaches your reducer, which is processing those bucket of keys.
Okay. No, I was reading on the internet, so it said there can be one more phase in between called combine. Before
Okay. So combiner, I think that was Akash. So combiner, Akash will be discussing in the advanced Mapreduce, and
okay.
combiner is used for is a kind of reducer which you can apply at the mapper phase only, so that reduces the data flow between your mapper and reducer. I'll discuss about that thing in detail in advanced Mapreduce. So combiner basically helps you to reduce the data flow over the network because we do the combination function, a part of combination function on the mapper side only.
Yes, yeah, that's what it said. So it's the same as the reducer, but it's done before.
But you have to be aware of, you can't apply combiner to every time, because there could be functions like median. So if I have to find a median, I can't apply combiner. I'll talk about this thing in detail. I'm just giving an overview for pleasure. So we'll talk about this thing in some time. So about Rohit and Abhijat, were you able to get into the VM?
Yes, this is Abhijat. I was able to. I can see design Pathshala on Hadoop class 17 Jan 3:30 p.m. EST. That white screen.
Okay. So I have not yet shared the screen. I'm just discussing about what we discussed in the previous session, and I'll be sharing my screen in a few minutes.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry, you asked about VM. Sorry. So I was able to install VirtualBox and Modernbox Sandbox 2.1.
Okay. And your virtualization issue was resolved, right? So great, that's good.
Well, it was resolved to the extent that Hortonworks started, it crossed the initial error. And I'm not sure where I was able to go up to. So it would be very helpful if you could, just further ask still to join. If you could quickly walk me through if there's anything that I missed.
So yeah, Abhijat, what we'll do today is we'll talk about something other features of Mapreduce, how the data is really read, how the data is really written, and that thing will take around 1 or 1.5 hours. Then the rest 1.5 hours I have dedicated for all of you. So there I'll request you to run a Mapreduce program. So, and if you are facing any issues, I'll be giving you the control to share your screen one by one, and we'll discuss the issues which you are facing, the problems which you are facing while running up your VM or while running up your Mapreduce. So that will give you a hands-on also, and that will make you confident about what you are running.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Okay, sure. And Abhijat, there is a problem while listening your voice, so I think that there's some problem.
Yeah, your voice is breaking up.
Is it breaking? Oh.
Yeah. So you
can. Should I use a headphone then?
And there's a lot of noise, some static noise coming from your mic.
From my end?
Yep.
Okay, I'm sorry about that. What can I do to better it? Should I use a phone?
I think just use a microphone or something. Headphones or something.
I have headphones. I can use headphones.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry about that again.
No issues. No issues. So by the time I'll just put you on mute. Hi Kamaljeet, good evening. I hope you were able to get the VM up or you faced some issues while moving that up.
Very good evening to everyone, and sorry I am joining late. Miraj, I thought that there is a new meeting invite coming in.
Okay.
So there was a last minute chaos, so I saw your ping also, that meeting invite is not going to change.
Okay, so this meeting invite would not change until unless informed to you. So keep on using this meeting invite. If there's some issues, I'll get it informed to you if there's a change in this meeting invite.
Okay, so with that, I did install the VM, the Java Virtual Machine, JVM. Is that called right? VM?
Yeah.
And, okay, and then I also activated that sandbox. Everything looks like installed.
Okay.
I tried Eclipse as well. I could not run a Hello World application. Overall, after having the installation, I could not launch Hortonworks, Sandbox, any kind of command or any screen I have not seen it. My final screen, it shows that Hortonworks Sandbox 2.1 running on Oracle VM VirtualBox.
Okay.
It's also says
So
HTTP 127.001.888,
okay.
but I could not access that particular website. Nothing is being coming or popping up on my screen.
Okay, no worries. So Kamaljeet, what I'll do today is the first 1.5 hours I'll try to explain other features of Mapreduce. We'll look a little bit more detail into Mapreduce, and then the next rest 1.5 hours I'll dedicate it. I have dedicated for all these problems which you are facing. So I'll be giving you the presenter rights one by one, and we'll be discussing the problems which you are facing, and I also request you to run one Mapreduce in the class so that you get a hands-on and you get some confidence that you can run it. So rest 1.5 hours after basically the next half would be dedicated for to troubleshoot all these problems, and I'll be coming to each of you one by one after the break. That is after.
Okay, so Viraj, I got that. That's a good idea as well. I don't know where is the entire class because I have joined late. Is class is able to start something or everyone is almost at same level where I am? I heard only Abhijat. So Abhijat is also not able to install or continue.
Okay, so almost everyone is at your level or a step ahead, but I'll definitely make sure that at the end of this session everyone is at same stage. So I'll try my best.
So the reason I asked this question, the reason I asked this question to double check with you, if the second half of the class you would utilize to ensure that we are able to work on our system, then the first half we will not be able to probably do any kind of practical work on our machines. So is there any possibility to swap first half versus second half, or you would continue with your thoughts?
So Kamaljeet, the reason I'm putting it on second half is so say for example Abhijat is able to install it, able to run the Mapreduce, then he can walk away if he wants. But if you have to extend the second half, we can extend it if you are facing some issues and you are not able to troubleshoot it. So that's the reason I placed it in the second half.
No, it's definitely makes sense. As an instructor, you have to take care of everyone. So yes, that makes sense.
Sure. So I have dedicated second half for that thing, and I'll explain you how to basically I expect everyone to run a Mapreduce, at least Hello World Mapreduce, so that you get a feel how to interact with SDFS Word, how to run Mapreduce. And then after covering the advanced Mapreduce, either today or if you get time, otherwise tomorrow, then I'll be giving you a hands-on exercise also, which I request everyone to try out at least if you are not able to complete that. Make sense?
Sounds good. Thank you.
Okay, sure.
Yes.
Okay. Hi, Girish.
Hi, Miraj.
So we were just discussing, we were just doing the recap of what we did in the last session, and I was also just discussing with everyone. Are you able, Rohit? I'm muting you. Are you able to install the VirtualBox? Are you able to try or run some commands on the sandbox?
No, I'm having some trouble. It's giving me some error. I'm trying to kind of fix it.
Okay. So, Girish, if you can just ping me or the error, I'll let you know. And in the next half of the session, I have dedicated it to all of you, so that I can come to each of you and try to resolve the issues which you're facing. And
okay.
Sure. So I hope the error is not related to the virtualization is not enabled kind of thing.
It's something like it's not able to import or export, something of that sort. I'll just tell you the error.
Okay, you can just take a snapshot and either send me on Skype or email me. I'll quickly look into that part also in the class. Okay.
Okay.
So okay. So.
What's your email ID?
Okay, that's a good thing. So
Miraj, you got the email on Design Pathshala?
Yeah, it's Miraj@Design Pathshala. MIRAJ
Okay.
at the rate ESIGNPATHSHALA.com. So I've just pinged on the chat window also.
Okay. Good.
So you can directly drop
Okay.
me an emails on this email ID if you are facing any issues, and I'll revert back to that. Okay, so we were discussing about the life cycle of Mapreduce. Yeah, Vijay, go ahead.
I just want to check if my voice clarity has got any better.
No, it's not better. Your voice is still breaking.
Still making, okay, I was using headphones. I'd rather use chat today.
Sure.
I think Abhijat, you should restart your machine, and if your virtual machine is running, stop it actually, because that eats a lot of RAM.
Yeah, for time being, if you can just stop it and you can start it after in the break. Okay, so before that, guys, so I'll just mute everyone. So before that, Mapreduce 3 phases, we also discussed about job tracker and task tracker. So anyone want to explain what was job trackers and task tracker before I go ahead and start the today's session?
Yeah, Abhijat. So job tracker runs on main node, and it distributes the task to secondary nodes.
Yes, and the task tracker takes care of getting your mapper and reducer initiated and runs your corresponding mapper and reducer on the data which is lying on that node. Yep, that's perfectly correct answer. And one more thing which I was asking was, okay, so we also looked into different ways how to look or how to read the data from SDFS. I talked quickly the three ways how we can really look into SDFS by different modes. Anyone want to tell what were those 3 modes by how I can look into the SDFS world or how I can browse the files in the SDFS?
Sorry, what was the question again?
Okay, so I also talked about how are the different ways by which I can interact with SDFS, that is Hadoop file system. There were 3 ways I talked about in my last class, how I can interact with the SDFS. So anyone want to recap what were those 3 ways?
We can use WinSCP, we can do SSH using PuTTY, we can use a browser-based localhost 8888 port.
Akash, the WinSCP or the SSH will take you to the Unix environment or your Unix machine.
And from there you can run the Hadoop FS.
Yes. So that's one way. Yeah, Hadoop FS is one of the way how to interact with the Hadoop file system. Another one which I discussed was the Hue UI, and yes, so that's correct. And the third one which I discussed was the Java program or the Hadoop FS jar. So these are the 3 ways which we discussed in the previous class to interact with the SDFS file system. Okay, so I'm just sharing my screen. Give me a sec. So I hope you can see my screen. If you can't, just ping me on the chat window. And so we discussed about the Mapreduce program. We discussed how your data is really read from the file system, and key and values are created out of your data, and your data goes via your mapper and reducer phase, and the aggregated output is produced out of reducer. So this is a sample program which we looked into, where I'll quickly recap so that everyone can recall the things before going ahead. So your mapper takes an input of key and value. These key and values are created somehow at the backend magically for you. I will talk about that thing in next few minutes. And then map plays on those keys and values and produces some other pair of key and value. That other pair of key and value is an input to your reducer class, and reducer that gets those keys and iterable values, that is a list of all the values corresponding to a key and plays on those key and value pair and produces another key and value pair that is being written to your SGFS file word. And the in-between phase or in-between data which is produced out of mapper is not written into SGFS, that is written into the local node where your mapper is running. Can anyone think of what is the reason behind that, why that data which is produced out of the mapper is written into the local file system and not onto SGFS before it's passed to reducer phase? Why it's not written on SGFS?
Faster execution, and anyway it's a temporary data.
Yep, that's a temporary data, and moreover if I put it on SGFS, I am unnecessarily replicating the data and unnecessarily increasing the task of name node and unnecessarily wasting the system resources. Moreover, that the local data need to be transferred over the network to the reducer, so it does not make sense to put into SGFS. Okay. So then we talked about Mapreduce failures. I am not sure whether we talked about this or not. So I'll quickly talk about these things also. So if your task, so load balancing is, Avijal I think left, he'll be joining in again, his machine is started or something. So the features which you talked about was improved load balancing, and how the load balancing really happens is your mapper and reducer runs on the parallelly onto the data across the data nodes, and this is how load is balanced across the cluster. Faster recovery from failed task. If the task fails, or if a mapper which is running for your job fails, then the task taker takes care of that thing, and that task is assigned to some other task taker. And if the whole job fails, task taker will again try to run that job. And when the job has failed due to some particular reducer or mapper, task taker implicitly take care not to send running instructions to that corresponding data node, but due to which the task or a part of task has been failed. So all these kind of things task taker take care, and it tries to reattempt the task. If it fails, it tries 3 times at least to re-trigger the task and re-execute a failed task and to achieve the results. And locality optimizations. So locality optimizations are the thing which we talked about. If the data, where the data is lying or where the block of the data is lying, the mapper starts over there only. So that's how I localize my optimization. I try to optimize the network bandwidth, or I should say the cost of the network of flowing the data over the network. I try to make my task run locally as much as possible, and that everything happens at the back end magically for you, as we discussed in our previous classes, how the whole workflow happens. So, okay, so before moving on to write table, anyone understand what is serialization? What is serialization in Java, or what is serialization? If you know, do ping me on the chat window. What is serialization? Queuing of what?
Yeah, it's a process of converting data into a stream of bytes. Yeah.
Okay, I would say just partly correct, not perfectly correct. So Rohit says queuing. Okay, I'm talking somewhat different context. So and each of you understand the object-oriented features OOPS concept. This objects are created in OOPS word. What are objects in OOPS? Before I a little bit explain the serialization. If anyone don't understand OOPS, just ping me on the chat window. Otherwise, I'll safely assume that everyone understands the OOPS. Object-oriented programming. Okay, I'm assuming everyone understands OOPS. Abhijat says okay, Abhijat. So OOPS is nothing but it's object-oriented programming. So say I have to, instead of rewriting all your code, I'm just explaining in layman's language. So instead of creating code for each of our objects, we create objects which could be reinitiated for similar kind of things. So say if I have to create a class of employee, what I can do is I can create an object which will have employee ID, name, employee ID, employee name, employee surname, employee department, and things like that. And whenever I have to have to deal with employee, I'll initiate a new object of that employee class, and the values of that employee would differ from the which employee which I've initiated. So the same object will have different values every time, but I've created objects. So and now I'm playing with the object-oriented word. So this is a little bit different from what we read see in our college lives. So objects are created and we play with the objects, and this helps in the reusability of the code and reusability of your objects. I'm not going deeper on that side. I'm just trying to explain as easily as possible. So these objects, say I have created I've created a class which is of employee, which has employee ID, employee name, last name, department, and things like that. And I've initiated that class for employee Abhijat. So in that case, that object will have the name is equals to Abhijat, the company as Cognizant, and things like that. Now, the same class I can use and I can initiate for Rohit also. In that case, the name would be Rohit and things like that. So a same class could be used and the objects could be created out of that. So that is what I was talking about, object-oriented principle, which we'll be talking a little bit over here. And I hope that makes that you get at least some feel of what is OOPS concept. I've not gone deeper into that side. So what happens is now this object which I've created for Abhijat and Rohit as an employee, I have to process those things. And why I have to process those things and why I have to read those things is because when we are reading the data from the file system, we are creating your Java object, that is mapper and reducer classes. The key and value pairs which are passed into mapper and reducer classes, and when finally from the reducer side key and values are outputted also to the file system. So these objects need to be persisted into file system and need to be read from the file system also. So anything which is created as a key or a value has to be persistable. So in Java term we call it serializable. So anything which can be serialized it means that the state of that object can be persisted, and later on if I read those bits and bytes which were written into the file system, I can reinitiate the same object from what I have written or what I have persisted into the file system. So that is called serialization in Java. Abhijat, that makes sense? Okay, somewhat. Okay, that's fair enough. If you are able to understand, there's something called serialization, and we can persist a state of an object into the file system or anywhere else, and that could be transferred to the network also, that could be persisted in database also. But the state can be somehow made persistable. So that is called serialization. And the same thing in the Hadoop world is called writable. So as the name itself suggests, it could be writable. That is, we can write this state of an object. So all the keys and values which are produced from your reducer has to be persisted on the file system. And if they have to be persisted on the file system, they have to be writable. That is, they could be written onto the disk. So the keys and values has to be writable, and that's what I'm trying to explain over here. So to make them writable, there is an interface in Java which has to, and these keys and values need to be marked as writable. Don't worry about the Java thing, but just try to understand the concept thing. Wherever I'm going deeper into Java side, just let me know. I'll try to skip those things, but I'll try to explain you the concept. Just try to understand this concept, and this will be very useful for you while dealing with Hive and Pig part. So just try to understand the concept. I'll try my best not to go deeper into the Java, but I'll also give you the feel what is existing in this world, so that you are aware of different terms and terminologies which you would be hearing if you are sitting in between the Hadoop professional groups. So those keys and values are writable, and as the writable itself suggests, those could be written into your file system. So these are the These are the before that, and your keys are not only writable but they are writable comparable also. Can anyone guess why they should be writable as well as comparable, and the values should be only just writable? So values are always writable, has to be writable, and your keys has to be writable as well as comparable. Can anyone guess what could be the reason behind it? As the name itself suggests, comparable. We can compare the keys. Rohit says recovery, restart. No, Rohit. That's not the reason. So if you remember, there is a phase called sort and shuffle phase. In the sorting phase, we sort our data based on keys. And to sort our data based on keys, I have to have some means by which I can compare my keys. So if say I have to compare those two employee objects, and I say the order in which employee object will appear in my sort is by the first name of the employee. So Abhijat will come prior to Rohit. So that comparable function has to be there, which tells about which object is smaller than other objects. So if I say the first name is the comparable for the is a feature by which I can compare the employee's object. So that need to be implemented, and that's the reason keys has to be comparable, so that when the sort and shuffle phase is trying to sort the keys, it's able to sort the keys in the ascending order. Make sense? Okay. So these are the different data types which you can work in the Hadoop world. All of them are self-explanatory. If you want me to explain anything, do let me know. I'll not go into the technicalities of Java over here, but just have a look at them. So we have boolean, we have bytes, we have double, we have float, we have int, long, text, null. Null is nothing but null value, what is the same way you have in your databases, and your own writable. So we can implement a class called writable comparable to create our own keys, and writable to create our own values, and those could also be used as key and value pairs. So we can create, everything is customizable in this world. If you don't like what has been provided by Hadoop, just implement the corresponding interfaces and create your own objects or on your own classes to do the corresponding work. So we have just discussed about writable comparable. Okay. So I was keep on saying there's something called a split size, and there's one mapper for each split and things like that. But I've not explained you what is a split, and the reason I've not explained you is I wanted to understand the flow before it makes sense to you to understand the split part. So what happens of this? Say this is my file. Try to understand this concept fully. This will help you in dealing with the data, in making your hide jobs, pick jobs, optimize, in understanding where there could be bottlenecks in the system, in understanding how your file should look like, how should your structure, what kind of compression you should be using in files, what kind of block sizes you should be having in your files. So just try to understand this feature or this whole flow. So say these are my two input files which would be inputted to your Mapreduce, or which will be read by your job to do the processing. So these are two files which are lying in my folder, which I have given as an input to Mapreduce phase. So, and I'll use another color. And this is say one block in this file. This is say another block in this file, and this is a third block in this file, and this file is say one block. So we have block 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, for all of these blocks, as I was keep on saying, there's a split corresponding to each block. So there would be an input split associated to each block. So there are 4 input splits associated to these 4 blocks. And there's a record reader which reads your record from this input split one by one. So each record is read one by one from your input split and passed on to your mapper phase. So there's one mapper which is initiated for your each split, and record reader reads one by one record from that split and calls your mapper map function for that split. And this is how the whole read happens from the file system. Let me open an Excel sheet and explain it to you in little bit more detail. Sorry. Okay, so I have the sheet open from yesterday's night batch, and I think, yeah, that's perfect sheet. I'll just press Control Z on this. Okay. So say, so this will save our 10-15 minutes. Everything is written on this sheet, but if this is written, I would be a little fast, so just bear with me. So say these are the 4 blocks which I was talking about in my file, and these are the blocks lying on your data node 1, data node 2, data node 3, and this is your data node 4. Okay, these are the 4 blocks lying on your data nodes, and I have to read. I have to read the data, and the data is same what we discussed in our word count program, where I was counting the fruits in my file or the count of each word in a file. So say this is my first line in a file. This is my second record. This is my third record, and this is my fourth record. Now, when I'm saying record reader reads your data from the input split record by record, the record here is the record which will be really passed to you. So if you recall, so if you recall over here, first line was red and has been passed to your mapper phase. Mapper produces output something like apple 1, orange 1, mango 1, and then the sort and shuffle tries to sort the data and send it to reducer, and reducers do the aggregation of the values and produces the output. So here, while this data is read for you, you'll be reading it one by one line. So the first line would be read and will be passed to your mapper function. So mapper will be called, mapper key and value would be called something like this. Map key is nothing, just for a time being, just assume it's a byte offset of the line. That is the location at which really the bytes are starting on this line. So it's say 123, comma, apple orange pulp is your value. And then the key and value pair will again be called for this second line. And this is how your key and value pair would be called. But there could be a probability like the grapes ES has been transferred to another block because it cannot be fit into this block, and this could practically go into some another block. This can happen. Everyone agrees on this part? Yeah, Akash says yes, this can happen. Okay, so if ES is lying in some another block, and I have to read this whole line as one input, and I have to call the mapper class on that input, I have to practically get this ES transferred from this data node 3 to this data node 2, and then only I can do the processing. So that's where the split really comes in picture. So by default, and most of the time you will be defining your split size as the block size, but a split is a logical distribution of your data. However, block is the physical distribution of your data. So this green color block is associated to this S2 split. However, this split is little bit, not fully, but little bit extended to next block also, and from the next block it's just reading this ES. So after ES, there's a slash n that now it gets now it understands there's a new record which will be started after the slash n, that is new line. So rest will be processed by the split 3, but this ES will be transferred from this data node 3 to data node 1, and it will be passed on to your mapper function with the corresponding byte offset, and grapes as a full word would be passed to your mapper function. If I pass grap, that will not make sense, and my output would not be correct. Similarly, if AES of this grape has been transferred across different block also, in that case also there is a third split which would be spanning across your data nodes, and it will be reading the data or will be requesting the data node 4 to send a part of that data so that that could be processed by the map and reduce which is running on, sorry, the map which is running on this data node, where this split is really, split is nothing, it's just the logical division of the data. Make sense? Okay, Kamalji says, sorry, I lost the audio. Yeah, Kamalji. Oh, sorry, that was Akash. Yeah, Akash, go ahead.
Yeah, quick question. So, so will this not increase the block size?
Will this not?
So if we have a block size of what's the block size? 64 MB or 32
yeah,
MB?
64 is the default.
Yeah. So will this not increase the block size if you are moving, or is it just the split size which will be greater than 64 MB?
So in this case, split size will be a little bit greater than 64 MB, but that is nothing. But that is just a transfer of the data which has happened from D3 to D2 for split S2.
Okay. But that's okay. So the split size can be greater than.
Yeah, by default, the split size is again configurable in Hadoop. The default configuration is equivalent to your block size, that is 64 MB, and 128 MB in the latest version. But there's some part of the data transfer which will always happen, because you can't guarantee that, because practically the data would be written something like this at the backend. It will not be this verse, it will be something like this at the backend. So you can't guarantee where your whole record as an individual entity has ended. So that might parse and can go to some other block also. And if it has gone to some other block, that is block B3 over here, Kamalji, I'll just come to you. So this data need to be transferred because to one mapper input only. This part data cannot be given to some mapper, and this ES cannot be given to some other mapper, because that does not make sense and that will not produce the correct output. So somehow this part of the data need to be transferred over the network and has to be processed by the single mapper which is running the other part of this data.
And where is this decision made to move the ES to a GRA instead of moving GRA to the other block?
See, the thing is, this split is reading the data. This split has already started reading the record for you. The record reader class which I was discussing into the previous class. So this record reader now will try to end up this record before it can be passed to your mapper phase. So it will request your name node where the other part of this record is lying, or the partial record is lying, and name node will return it, it's lying so and so at so and so place. Go and request that node, and it will then go to that node, request that node, and get the part of the record.
But Miraj.
Understood. Thanks.
Yeah, Miraj, this is Rohit.
Yeah.
Just a question here. So when split is read on M2 actually, how does it know that rest of the data is on D3 actually, right? Because that information is with your name node, right?
Yeah. So that's the beauty of the whole system. If I have to find out anything in the system, I'll just request the name node, and name node will send me the location where the rest data is lying.
Okay. So and Miraj, another question I was asking. The way you are covering all this, so just trying to relate basically, is it something like sorting what we do in other database related worlds, like this thing which you are telling, is it the broad level sorting kind of thing, right?
Sorting, not sorting. I won't say it's sorting.
So because after reducer you are generating some result, right? Like aggregate functions are there in other SQLs.
Yes.
Is that something related kind of thing? Okay.
Not exactly. This here you can do any kind of processing. These, rather than this data, there could have been images, there could have been a picture, there could have been videos. So in that case, again, the video could be lying in multiple blocks. So that would be aggregated to one mapper function before getting processed.
Okay.
I'm not exactly able to get your question, but
my question is, if I compare this whatever we have learned so far with other RDBMS system or other systems where we store the data, right?
Okay.
So there normally we interact with the system using SQL, right? Here we are interacting with the system using a lot of commands, a lot of jar files, which we have to write, right?
Okay. So Rohit, just wait for, I think next week or next to next week, then we'll be coming on to Hive, and there you have to just write the SQL commands, and all of these things which you are discussing till now would be automatically handled for you, and you have to just write a command like select stars from table employees, and all of these things which I'm talking with you will happen explicitly at the back end, and that will be everything will be transparent to you. You don't have to worry about each of any of these things. But if you understand the system, if you understand the system, how the data is really written to Oracle, you can optimize your queries. How the data is really read from the Oracle system, you can optimize your queries. So that's the reason I'm explaining you all these things. But when you will be looking into Hive, you'll be writing a single query like select start from employees, where employee name is equal to so and so.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So Kamaljeet, I am not able to get a question. What is ES? Where you can see ES, I am not sure.
Actually, when I joined the call, you were explaining from C3 to D3, the ES and the new line character. I was
okay.
So that was the time when I rejoined my audio. I think I lost in between for at least 4 or 5 minutes.
Okay, okay. So are you able to get it, or shall I? Okay, yeah, said Graves.
No. With the interest of the class time, I would say that let's continue, but I would request for the recording of this session.
Okay, sure. You can just drop an email and you will get the recording. So
okay.
I was just talking about this part of the data. If it's divided across blocks, that would be somehow come to the split, which is taking care of that particular record, which has already started looking for which it has already started looking for, and this whole data would be passed on to your mapper and reducer phase. So this will be your value.
And,
yeah.
Okay. 2 other questions on this regards. When the file or data size is so big that it cannot be accommodated within 64 MB, you are talking about the extension of same 64 MB to another data block.
Yes. So no, not the file. I'm talking about this. My file is something like this. This is a single file. My file is something like this. This is my file.
This is the value of your file.
So this is what is written in my file.
Okay.
So, but practically at the back end, this file would be some 0 and 1s only. And
right.
when I'm writing these things into block, I can't ensure this whole 2 lines or whole 1 line can sit into a block. The block will just adjust whatsoever it can adjust. So practically this part of Graves or part of this line could go to some other block also. So that is what I was talking about. If something like this happens, how the data flow really happens in between with the help of your input split and the record reader.
Okay. If you will go to your one of previous slide where you have mapper and reducer, I would request you to, if you could explain it once again. What exactly is mapper and what is the role of reducer? Oh. And that's there in your, yes, exactly, this slide probably. Yeah.
Okay. So now.
Map task reducer.
Yeah. Okay. So now let me. So what I was talking right now was how the data is really read. So if you remember, my mapper got a key called apple and. Sorry, this is the output from the mapper. My mapper got the key called some byte offset value of this line. So I say 1 and 2 comma this line, 3 comma this line, something like this. Right. My mapper got, right? So how this has been created, I am talking about this thing. So in the example which I was showing you over here, how this is being created for you. So this is created by this whole flow. So input split reads our whole block. And a record reader is a record reader which segregates each record from that block and passes that record one by one, creating a key and value pair for you to your mapper class. And then mapper will really play on that data. So over here.
So input split is does this action brings the entire file to the memory or something like that?
No. Input split, yeah. The input split is nothing, but it's just a logical division of the data. As you have seen, input split is just equivalent to your block size, but blocks are the physical distribution of your data across data nodes. Input split we define as a logical distribution of the data, so that part of the data or the part of the record which has been distributed across the data nodes. So in that case, the input split is spanning across 2 data nodes, and the record reader is able to get the full record rather than a partial record.
Okay, so you went pretty fast, yes, but I try to understand that same. Input split is basically reading each 64 MB of the block size, and then the record splitter is actually putting the map key value splitting.
Yes, and here the record by default is separated by /n, so each line is a record. So record reader will ensure that it reads the whole line. So over here in the Excel sheet, when I was talking about, just a minute, let me share back the Excel sheet. So in the Excel sheet which I was talking about, when the record reader will start reading over here, it will say that this line is not ended by /n, that is new line has not occurred. So this record is not, this is not the end of the record. So in that case, the whole data flow will happen. It will ask the name node and things like that will happen, and it will find out where the rest part of this record is lying, and this part of the record. So from the start of this block, it will start reading till it doesn't reach /n, and this data would be transferred to this data node for processing for this split. And this block or the split which will be reading on this block will start only from where it will find the start of your record.
Understood. Thank you. Now I also understood ES/N. Okay.
Okay. So let me go back to the PPT. So this is how the data is read, and your mapper keys and value pair which are passed to the mapper class are really created at the backend. But there is one more file which comes in picture. I'll just talk about that thing quickly. So this record reader uses basically file input formats, which are the input formats based on your files. So if we don't define any file input format by default, so Kamaljeet, I'll just put you on mute. If we don't define any file input format, the by default text input format which is used, and the default separator for record and file input, text input format is /n, and that's the reason in the previous example which I was showing it to you, or the word count example, each line was transferred as a record, or for each line your mapper key and mapper map function was called. So by default, the /n is a terminator of the line, and keys are nothing but the byte offset value of that record, the starting position of that record in the whole file, how many bytes are just ahead of this record, that is the byte offset position of that record, and the value is the real text. So this is how your keys and values are created with the help of text input format class, which is by default if you don't define your any other text input format. There are other also which are already created in Hadoop world, but you can also create your own also. So these are few of the default ones which you can try to use, and you can play with them, and these are very useful. So there's something called key value text input format. So in the previous example which I was showing you, say what I want is my keys should be anything which is prior comma, and value should be anything which is after comma. So my data would be some, say, comma separated or something. I want keys should be anything which is prior to comma, and value should be anything after comma. So I can use this kind of class which is called key value text input format, where I can define my own separator. But if I don't define a separator, what would be the separator between key and value? The default would be /t. Otherwise, I can say it as a comma, and anything which, so say my values are something like this: 1 comma value, 2 comma value, 3 comma value. Sorry for my pathetic writing. So in that case, if I use this class, my key which will be passed to the mapper would be 1, and the value which will pass to the mapper is this value, and so on for each of these records. So my mapper's map function would be called, and this is how the key and value pair would be created for me. Then there is something called sequence input file format. There are kind of sequence files. We'll be looking into sequence files deeply in our file formats and the compression class. So there's a file input format dedicated for the sequence file. For timing, just understand there's something called sequence file, and there's a reader for that also, which we can use if we are using the sequence file. Sequence files are very useful in the Hadoop world, and people are extensively using sequence file. All of the Hadoop cluster in Yahoo is on sequence file. They have explicitly moved on to sequence file in 2000, I think 12 or 13, somewhere around 10 or 13, I don't remember the exact year. Because of a few issues which they were facing with the data, their cluster capacity was totally occupied, and then they made some intelligent decisions to switch on to sequence file, and they saved a lot of space and things like that. So we will talk about sequence file in our sequence file class, but there are kind of sequence files, and there's a file format reader, or basically dedicated to sequence file. Kamaljeet, if I switch over to sequence file, this will take 15-20 minutes. Do you want me to switch over to sequence file, or shall we discuss the sequence file in the file formats class? Okay.
No, I confirm that we will go by sequence.
Okay, so we'll talk about that thing in detail in our file format class and the compression class. So for the time being, there's something called sequence file. Just assume that part. Then there's something called n-line input format, which is nothing but it rather than reading a single line, it explicitly guarantees that exactly n lines will go to your script. So these are some of the inbuilt file input format which are there in the Hadoop world, and you can always create your own. So file input format will read all the files out to a specified directory and send them to your mapper. And the record reader in between creates your basically creates your records, by which your data is split in by which your data is split into key and value pair. So there's a record reader which is associated, so each input format provides an on record reader. So it is a record reader which is associated to those input formats. The line record reader is associated to your line key value. What was it? The text input format. The key value record reader is associated to your key value text input format, and similarly for others. And you can always create your own record readers also. So everything in the Hadoop world you can create your own. If you are not satisfied with what are the default ones provided for you, all you have to do is just implement the corresponding interfaces and create your own classes. I'll not go deeper into the Java side. I'll prefer you to I'll go deeper on the high side and big side, so that you people can relate it to your current work and you can easily get those things. But I will try to explain the concepts to you. So now you understand, now everyone understand all these things. Your mapper takes something key and value and produces something key and value. So this key and value comes from where? The input. Yeah, that's come from your input data, and that is created with the help of your input file formats which you are using. So the key and value will be created based on the type of input file format which you are using. And output is what we have processed in the mapper class and produced as an output. So I can be creating my own keys and values, or I could be playing with the data and generating what key and value pair I want to produce. Then this output would be input to a reducer, but only the difference would be instead of single value, there will be a list of values. And then again, reducer will be producing its own key and value pair, which would be the third key and value pair type, which will be written into your LGFS file world. So I'll not go into the complexities of these things, but there is a map function which takes this key and input value and the context object which will be dealing with.
Miraj, I have a quick question. I think Rohit, I think he has compared the reducer with the sorting. But can I compare reducer with some kind of synchronization logic by which it's actually compressing the data and it's storing, before storing to the data nodes, it's kind of a logic which compress and convert data into binary and then finally save it?
Not exactly compress. Akash has just read a question. Sorry, I missed that. I'll come to that part also. So the reducer is so basically it works whenever you have to process some data, you have to think in terms of key and value pair. If you can think your data in key and value pair, your 50% of the problem is resolved. So
Okay.
your mapper phase, so you will be reading your data with some input format, and that input format would be creating some key and value pair for you. So let me again switch back to an Excel sheet. This was the question asked in the yesterday's class also, and I have created one example over there only. So let me switch over back to the Excel sheet. That will make it more clear. Akash, I'll come to your question after this. So let's say I have a data which is okay. So let's say I have a data which is nothing but an employee table, which has these columns: employee ID, department ID, first name, last name, and age. Now what I have to do is I have to find out average age of each department. So there are many ways I can read the data and I can process the data, but somehow the reducer will be doing the aggregation part of your data. So somehow I have to produce a map key and value pair from the mapper side, so that the department is my key and the values are the age. If I can produce that successfully from the mapper phase, I would say 90% of the work is done. If somehow I can produce key as my department ID and the value as the corresponding age, and if all of them goes to a reducer can just call an average of all the ages which it has got for the key of department, and it can easily produce the average age of each department. So how I can read the data, how I can read this data is, so say this is a file of the relational database, which is a comma separated file lying in my file system. So the first way is I can read it something like this. I can say the second comma is the separator of the key, and anything after second comma is the value. So your file input format will produce the green color as the key and the blue color as the value. In the mapper class, I'll be playing with my keys and values. I'll be skipping anything which is prior the first comma in the key, and anything which is prior the second comma in the value. And I'll be producing something like this. The yellow color is the key and the green color is the value. And if I'm able to produce this from the mapper class, reducer will the in between short and shuffle will ensure that the data is something like this, and which is transferred to a reducer. On the reducer side, I'll just say average for each key, and I'll produce the average age. Kamalji, does that answer your question?
Okay. Absolutely, and you actually took me back to 14-15 years on my Oracle initial classes as well. So this is a similar example of it. Thank you.
Okay, so there was one more question on the chat window, but I missed that part.
So Miraj.
Yeah.
Miraj, this is Rohit. I have a question. So in last example, your reducer was doing a count of the key values, right? For a key value, how many counts were there? And now in this example, your reducer is taking an average age, right?
Yes. So it's doing another mathematical operation or called average on my values. So a reducer would most of the cases would be doing something, as the name itself suggests, reducing. So it's doing some kind of aggregation on your data, or slicing and dicing of your data, not slicing, but just the dicing of your data, and then producing the output.
Okay, and we code that reducer logic in our program code, like your examples had were in Java, right? There you had.
Yes, but when you'll be looking into Hive, I have to just run the query, select average age from employee group by department. So at the backend, this mapper and reducer would be written by Hive for you, and everything will happen at the backend transparently for you, and you will get an average age of the of each department.
Okay.
So Akash, you had questions. So there can be multiple map sessions running on the same node at the same time. Yes, practically they can multiple mapper sessions can run on the same node. They could be for different blocks also. They could be for different jobs also. Practically, yes, they can. Yes, that's practically a possible situation. Okay, I'll switch back to the PPT again. Okay, so now everyone got able to get it. There's something called key and value, which is passed to your mapper class and the context object. And the keys are writable, comparable, and the values are writable. So as we have discussed about the record reader and the input file formats, so they are default also implemented for you. Similarly, there are default mappers also implemented for you. These are few of the default mappers, which if you don't want to code your mapper, you can directly use those mappers, and your data would be processed by these mappers. So as the first name itself suggests, identity mapper, it does not do anything. It will just produce the key and value pair as it is passed to it. So if you don't want to do any processing in the mapper phase, you can use this identity mapper, and this will just produce the key and value pair as it was passed to it. And then there's something called inverse mapper, which will just inverse your input. The key will become value, and value will become your key. Then there's something called regex mapper. So regex mapper is nothing but based on your regex expression which you have defined, it will produce the match and the corresponding count in your value. And similarly, the token count mapper. So there are few of these useful mappers which you can directly use, but you will definitely write your own mappers based on your logic which you want to implement. So the output of the mapper is input to a reducer. So output of your mapper key is equivalent to a reducer input key, and the value is what is outputted of your mapper, and that is equivalent to the type of what has been produced from your mapper. These can't differ, and only the difference is those values will be coming as a list to my reducer input, and the keys are writable, comparable. The values are writable. So as we discussed in the mapper side, similarly
Miraj, sorry, if we go back to the previous slide, the quick question you mentioned about key and value. Is this value, can we compare with the data type, string, dates, or whatever it is, or this is
different? So that's what I discussed over here. These are the different kind of values and keys could be. So these are the data types: Boolean, double, text, all these things. And if you want, you can create your own also.
Okay, thank you. This was the slide which I completely missed when I got disconnected.
Okay.
Thank you.
No issues. So as your record reader reads the data, there is something called record writer which writes your data, and there is a corresponding output file which is created. And now you can guess the reason why there are different output files when my Mapreduce runs. So there is a dedicated record reader and file output format which is associated to the reducer, and each reducer will write its own file, and that's the reason when you are running your Mapreduce program on large programs, or you have explicitly defined 2 or 3 reducers as a count of the reducer in your program, there will be n number of files which would be created in your output directory equivalent to the number of reducers which have been initiated while running a Mapreduce job. So these are the few default.
One more question on.
Yeah.
Sorry, one more question on that previous slide. When we are writing a Java-based programming for the Hadoop map request, these reducer are multi-thread options which we would be using it. Kind of parallelism or something would be used. My question, extension of that question is, if we are going further with Hive and other programming language, during that the reducer or something is automatically handled by Hive and programs, correct?
Yes, but if you know that I can configure the number of reducers, the same configuration will definitely be available in Hive also. So while running your query, if you think that instead of spanning 10 reducers, I should be spanning 20 reducers. You can define that. So if you understand what is configurable by understanding the concept of the backend, everything would, the same configurations, the same thing would be achievable and would somehow be possible in Hive and Pig also.
Thank you. That's helpful.
And Miraj, where are these output files written? On the same node where the reducer is running?
No. These output files are written in SDFS.
In HDFS.
Because
and, is there a way where these this output is combined, or it remains in separate?
It always remains in separate files.
Okay, thank you.
Because if the same file is being accessed by different reducer on the SDFS, that will again create a lot of issues. Moreover, there is a dedicated record reader output format which are associated to the reducer. That does not make sense to produce the whole output of a single file. Otherwise, it will create a lot of network bandwidth and transfers across the cluster while writing the data, because that is parallelly written by n number of reducers which are running for your job.
So the record reader takes care of when we want to read this output. It takes care of showing up.
So yeah, the reverse happens when I use a record reader. That same file will be read with the help of corresponding record reader.
And again, that would be the beauty of the system, that while writing the record, it is being distributed. While reading, there would be multiple readers going into different nodes and not loading not choking the bandwidth of the any specific network.
Yep. So that's the beauty of the system. And while reading, we are reading it block by block. While writing, again, we are writing block by block to the corresponding file. So we are not interfering with the work done parallelly across the cluster.
And Miraj, I mean, these 4 blocks which are processed, they are processed on 4 nodes, right? And all those 4 nodes are running, say, copy of Java code, right?
Yes.
Parallelly.
Yes.
So that itself is a multi-threading, right? What Kamaljeet was asking.
Actually, multi-threading is a concept when you are running parallel threads in your single JVM span, but yeah, that is parallel processing.
Okay.
So, okay, you have also raised one more good thing, which I'll just tell you. So when this Java code, which is inputted into your system, when I did a job submit, the replication factor for this submission of the job is not 3. By default, it's 10. And I hope you can understand why it's 10 and much higher than the replication factor of the data. Everyone can assume that part, or shall I explain that thing? Why it is too high for the job files, the job logic.
So I think first hand, it doesn't know where the data is lying, right? So that's why it is creating more copies?
Yeah, and it's trying to reduce the network usage, because this logic would be required by 10 or 20 or hundreds of mapper which will be running in my job processing. So if there are just 3 copies, so there will be fight and run kind of conditions also on the blocks while I'm reading those things. Then there are hundreds of mappers is pooled in my system. So it just ensure that there's a nearby copy for your mapper would be available with the logic, so that you can easily get it while running the program.
Okay.
So similar to the mapper, there are default reducer implementations also for us. So here, this identity reducer is nothing but it produces the output and similar to your input. The long sum reducer is the reducer which you have written in your word count program, where it will just count the values. It will just do the summing of the values and produce the key and the sum of values. Similar to the input file input formats, there are text input formats, text output formats also. So the text output format by default, this is you just remember all these things. The /t is the default separator of key and value across the Hadoop programs, either Pig or Hive or anything, until unless you explicitly define the separator between your key and value pair. So then the sequence file output format, which is related to sequence file, and null output format will produce nothing, but it will just eat the output of a reducer. Some cases you might require that to might be you might be requiring it, but I have not practically used it. So okay, before going to the common Mapreduce algorithm, let's try to run one Mapreduce program which is using this input file format, key value input file format. So that will give you that will give you better idea. And then I'll after the break, then we'll look into the individual problems. And meanwhile in the break, or meanwhile right now, just try to start your VMs so that your VMs are booted up in next 10-15 minutes. So let me switch over to the Eclipse part and show you the program which I'm running, and then we'll try to run it. And so let me share my Eclipse. So see, what I'm doing in this program is I've created, this is my mapper class, this is my reducer class, and this is my main function. So when you are also writing your Mapreduce program, practically you will not be changing this code. Rohit says, should all of these nodes be on Windows? Rohit, the sandbox which I've shared with you is just the single instance cluster. So here the replication factor is only one data node, only one name node, which are running practically on one node only, which is started as a sandbox. So it's a single node cluster. However, in the real world example, you will be triggering same commands, same programs in your Hadoop cluster while sitting on some particular data node or any of the node which is associated or network to your cluster, and you will be running the same commands. Nothing will change in your commands, nothing will change in your data processing. So that's again a beauty of the cluster. The cluster could be reduced to even a single node. The cluster could be expanded even to thousands and hundreds of nodes. But as a program, as a logic, you will be always writing the same logic which will behave in the same fashion irrespective of the cluster size. So then the sandbox which will be running is a single node cluster. So there's only one data node, and on the same node, there's a name node is also running on the same node. Your job trigger, task trigger, everything will happen. But the same logic will apply to your cluster also. Does that make sense, right?
Yes, Miraj.
Okay. So when you are writing your Mapreduce code, you will be using the same kind of code structure. All you have to do is you have to just change this logic, how you want to process the key and value produced out of your mapper class. You have to change this logic, how you want to process the key and value produced out of your reducer class. And this also might remain same. All you have to just define if you are using any particular input formats or output formats. Otherwise, you have to just give your mapper class and reducer class. Nothing else. Nothing else. It will be like this only. You don't have to change this logic also if you are not using explicit some input format class or output format class or explicit record data or something like that. So here I'm using the key value text input format, which will ensure anything before the so here a separator which I'm using is comma. So it will ensure that anything prior to comma will become my key, and anything after comma will become my value. And here in the mapper class, I'm not doing anything. I'm just using the identity mapper. And what I'm saying is write to the key and value pair as it was passed to this mapper. So nothing will happen in the mapper class. In the reducer class, I am not doing anything. Again, I am just parsing all the values, the list of values which I've get for this key, and just producing the key and value pair. So in the mapper and reducer phase, I'm not doing any logical transformation of the data. I'm just trying to explain you how this key and value text class is used and how you can use other classes also. So all you have to do is just configure the class input format if you have to change your input format and things like that. So here we are not using the default input format. If we have not given any input format over here, then the default would have been taken. So this key value input format will produce anything before your comma as a key and after your comma as a value. So I'll just open a sample file which I'll be running, and I want every one of you to tell me what would be the output produced by this Mapreduce program. So I'm just putting on my screen what is my input of what is the input which I'll be giving to this program. Just give me a second. Okay, so this is a file which I'll be passing to this program. I want every one of you to quickly ping on the chat window what would be the output after I run that Mapreduce program. Abhijat says can't see the file. Can't you see my Chrome window where I've highlighted the data file which is lying in which is residing in my data key value input text? Can none of you can see my screen, or just Abhijat who can't see my screen?
Can see it.
So Abhijat, I think there's some problem with your end only. Just check it out. So just try to think of what would be the output of this program, and then we'll run that program in our Hadoop cluster.
Okay, is there a pin drop silent or I lost the connection?
Even I thought so. I'm not able to hear neither.
Okay.
Sorry everyone. I think I was just speaking on mute. I have placed my mic on mute and I was just speaking on mute. And okay, so from last 5 minutes I'm just speaking on mute. Okay, so Kamalji, I was saying that your machine is up and running perfectly fine, and only you have to do just coding. And there's a common problem which someone can face. So this is a problem which I have placed in the installation document. Just try to go with that. If it's not defined over there, I'll help you how to resolve this problem. For rest others, I'm just waiting for your thought. What will be an output of this program if I'll run it on the data which I've shown on the screen? So I'll re-bring my Chrome browser on the air. So this is the data which I'll be inputting. Sorry?
Because all the data are different and all the keys are different, so I would assume it would be the same as the input.
No, that will not
Yeah.
be the same.
And
That will not
can
be
you
the
go
same.
back once again to your code, please?
Okay, okay.
We would like to see that what is the writing method you are using there.
Okay,
Reading
so
is okay, it's a comma separator.
So writing nothing. I have not defined any method over here, and it's just I am producing text, the key and the value. Nothing. I'm just producing all the keys and values which are passed to my reducer function. I'm also not doing anything over here.
Will it be just differentiate with /t, which would be a tabbed elementer?
There would be one more difference, which if you think how the data flows happen in the system, yeah, that's the one difference which will happen to the output. But there's one more difference which will happen to the output if you think in the whole workflow of the life cycle of the data in Mapreduce job, you will be able to get it. I'll again bring back the data on the screen.
Yeah, because we have not even seen a duplicate value over here. So
Duplicate value will never make effect because it's only the keys which are grouped, so values will never make any problem. But there will be one more thing which will happen over here. Okay, so before coming over here, let's say I added this file and I gave it something like this: 1, value 1, 3, value 3, 2, value 2, and 5, value 5, 4, value 4. Now what do you think would be the output?
the key would go as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
So then the sorting that will happen on the
Yes.
key.
Yes, and the keys will be sorted. Now I'll cancel this and again open that. Now again think over here what will happen.
So 10 will go as second.
Yes, that's the perfect answer.
Key 10 will go as second row.
Yes, that's the perfect answer because these keys are now text, and as if I sort the keys by text, the 10 will come after 1, and so the output would be key 1 tab value 1, key 10 tab value 10, and so on. So let's try to run it, and then I'll switch over the control to all of you. So this is a Mapreduce jar which I've already created, and this is lying in your code folder which I've shared with you people. So if you don't want to create your own jars, just use this jar for running the program in today's session and play with that jar. And later on, if you can create your own jars. So for time being, you can just directly use this jar which I've created for you, and all the classes which I've discussed till now are there in this jar. So to run it, as I've explained in the previous class, it's Hadoop jar and the jar name and the fully qualified class name which I want to run. So here the fully qualified class name, I'm just copying it from the Java program. So that will not be visible to you. I'm just copying it. And the input from where I want the data to be read. So I'll just explicitly give that key value text input file as an input. And I'll remove these spaces in between. And I'll just give a directory where I have to output my data. So, but this output directory would be existing, so I have to delete the directory. So anyone can tell me what would be the command to delete that output directory?
It'll be a Hadoop FS minus a del RM. Okay.
Yeah. And recursive is for the recursively deleting the directory, and minus skip trash is nothing but I'm skipping the trash to go to bin, and I'm just doing a shift delete kind of thing. Yeah, okay. So now let's try to run it. Kamalji, by the time this program is running, for the resolution of your problem, you have to switch off your VM, not a laptop or desktop, just the VM which is started up, and you have to go to the network setting. So just switch off your VM in the meantime, and then I'll also discuss the problem which you're facing. So now the output is there. So how I have to look at the output is Hadoop fs minus cat, and my output path. So this was my output path, and the file would be by some p something starting with p. So I'm just giving p star. I'm sure that there will be only one reducer in this case because the file. So see key 1 value, key 10 value 2, 3, and 4. Make sense to everyone? So let's do one thing. Let's take a 10 minutes break, and then I'll be back, and then I'll be giving the control to each of you. I'll be coming to each of you one by one, and we'll look into to your problems, what you're facing. Before that, just let's take a 10 minutes break. So it's 8:33 IST in my watch. I'll be back at 8:43 IST, and take care in your corresponding time zones. Sorry for the delay. So I think Kamalji is back. Akash is back. Anyone else back? Just ping them in the chat window. Okay, Girish also says me too. Okay, others will also be joining in some time. So what I'll do is, whomsoever is on the call, I'll pick you alphabetically how you are visible on my screen, and I'll switch over the control to you one by one, and let's discuss the problems which you're facing and try to resolve them. So in the meanwhile, who are able to install the VM, please just download the ZAR file from the code folder which I've shared with you. The ZAR file is lying on at the top level in the code folder. Try to run the Mapreduce program, and you have to give an input to the Mapreduce program, which is a file which should be lying in your HDFS Word, and the output would again be created in a HDFS Word. So just try to run that program, and I'll be coming to each of you one by one, giving you the control to share your screen, and we'll be discussing the problems which you're facing. So Abhijit, Abhijat, are you there? No, he is not back. Okay, Akash, I hope you are back. So I'm giving you the control. I'm making you the presenter.
Okay.
Okay. So are you able to start your VM?
Yes, give me 1 second. Yeah, I'm able to start my VM.
Okay, so just try to run the Mapreduce program in that case. Try to run the download the Mapreduce ZAR from the code folder. Try to run a Mapreduce program, and then I'll come back to you once you face any issues.
I just quickly, if you can tell me the steps.
Sure. Okay. Sure.
So to import it in Eclipse. So
okay. So Akash, for a time being, I'm just not bringing the Eclipse in picture. So the jar which I've created already for you, you can use that jar. Try to run a Mapreduce which is already there, compiled in that jar. So the jar is lying in the code folder on the top level only. If you go to that code folder shared in the Google Drive, there's a jar called Mapreduce -0.0.1 snapshot.jar. Just with the help of WinSCP, put that jar in your Unix word and try to trigger a command called Hadoop jar. The jar name, fully qualified word count, class name, input and output.
And where's the input file?
You have to create yourself.
Oh, we have to create ourselves. Okay, fine. All right.
Okay.
Perfect. I'll do that.
Just try to do that, and then I'll come back to you in next 15-20 minutes.
Okay.
Okay. So okay, there are two Akash. Then Girish, are you facing any issues? I'm unmuting you, Girish.
Yeah, actually, when I try to run the Horton box, when I click on start, it gives me an error.
Okay, I'm making you the presenter. Sure, I'm making you the presenter. Show me the error which you're getting.
Okay. This is the error I'm getting.
I am still okay. Okay. So Girish, if you go to the software folder, there's a file called installation document. Just open it.
Yeah, I have opened it.
So go down. I think this is a previous. Yeah, I think this is a previous version. Just go down. Go more down. Just go more down. Yeah, troubleshooting. So just look over here. This is a step. The 4.1 to 4.5 are the steps to resolve this error. You might have to reboot your machine also. Just try out if the virtualization is enabled on your box or not. And you have to reboot your machine also. So you might get disconnected also, but you have to enable it in your BIOS. And I hope your processor is not old age processor. If it's very old, the virtualization feature itself might not be there in your laptop. So,
oh, okay.
So if it's
not
a
company provided laptop, not sure how old is it.
Just check it out. I doubt you would be using IBM ThinkPad or something. That I doubt whether That would be a, so probably it will not be just the that it would be disabled from the BIOS. So just try to change the BIOS setting, and that will enable the virtualization for you.
Oh, that's okay. In the BIOS, I have to go change the virtualization, is it?
Yeah, yeah. You have to just enable the virtualization in BIOS.
Okay.
So you have to reboot you reboot it. So you might also get disconnected, but we'll wait for you to come back. And how to change it, or how to check whether the virtualization is enabled on your laptop or not, or how if the virtualization feature is really supported by your motherboard. There is a software also which I've shared with you. So this document talks about that software also. You can install it. That will just take 1 or 2 minutes of your time, and that will tell you whether the virtualization is supported by your motherboard or not.
Okay.
Okay. So just either you can use this software and try out before switching off the laptop, or you can switch off and check it in your BIOS settings also.
Yeah, I'll first check it in my BIOS.
Okay.
And where is that software you said?
The path is also there in the same document, that is there in the softwares folder. So the path is also there. Just go up a little bit more up in 4.1, I think. Yeah. So go down.
Go down, is it?
Little bit down. Yeah. 4.2.1. You're browsing very fast. Yeah. So here, download Google Drive software utilities. This setup is a utility which will install that software, and there you can check it. So there's a screenshot also which tells you how to check it, whether that is enabled or not. So just go to the Google Drive, you'll find the software.
Super. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sure. Okay. So Girish, I'm muting you. Kamaljit, I'm coming to you. I'm unmuting you, and I am making you the presenter. You can show me your screen. I'll tell you the steps how to resolve that error.
Please confirm when you are able to see my screen.
I can see your screen now. So if you go to your this Oracle VM box, just go over there. I think I've written those steps, but I might have missed those. Just go to the Oracle VM box. I can't see it still on your screen.
Oh, you are not?
I can see your screen, but yeah, okay, yeah, now I can see it. Yeah. So just stop this. Just stop this sandbox. I think your firewall or something is disabled on this. So no, don't exit it. No. Just right click on this running symbol and make it just yeah, right click and stop. Close. Close power off. Yeah, power off.
Power off. Okay.
Yeah, power off.
I did actually. 1 second. I did restarted this, and this is now coming back up.
Okay, so so the problem is if you are not able to connect with the PuTTY, the reason is either some firewalls or some you are sitting on some virtual network, and that is blocking this. So we'll just enable another tunnel by which you can connect to this. So just power it off.
Okay, so should I power off?
Yeah, power off.
Okay.
So now right click and click on settings. Right click on this machine and click on settings. Go to the networks. And what is that network name? Just a minute. Host only adapter. So go to the network, enable the second, or leave the first adapter like this only. Don't change it. Go to the adapter 2, enable it. Check host on your adapter, host only. That is related to this machine only. And then don't change anything. And in the advanced setting, if you are connected to cable, just enable it. Otherwise, it will not make. So it's correct. Cable is by default enabled. That's fair enough. Leave it. And just click.
I'm on Wi-Fi. Cable.
Not a problem. But if you are in a cable later on, this will work. Just click on OK.
Okay.
and start your VM. Once your VM is started, once that box is visible to you, log into that box there only and type ifconfig. That will give you the another IP address which has been enabled on the another Ethernet port which we have enabled right now. And then you can use that Ethernet port rather than 127.0.1 to connect to this virtual box.
Okay, sounds good to me.
Okay.
And this entire softwares are killing the machine.
Yeah, so these are heavy, heavy duty system. So there are a lot of things which are running in the sandbox, and it will eat up your machine RAM extensively. If you want it to give a dedicated RAM, you can again change the settings and give it just 2 GB of RAM. That will suffice for this to run. And if you are just having 4 GB RAM, I'll leave other 2 GB for your other processors. So same thing, you can just click on the settings and change the RAM settings of this machine also, and give it dedicated 2 GB and not more than that.
Okay.
Okay. So this is, yeah, this will eat almost all of your RAM because all of these processes are running at the backend for you, and they're doing the corresponding tasks which is happening at the backend. All this complex thing is happening at the backend.
Okay.
Okay. So just try it out. Once the machine is up, if you face any issues, I'll come back to you.
All right.
Okay. So Kamaljit, I'm putting you on mute. Rohit, I'm coming to you. Hi Rohit, so are you able to start the VM at least?
Yes, Miraj, I started VM.
Okay, so now you can download the jar first and then try to run a word count with that jar, and then we can talk a little bit in more detail how to create your own jar and things like that.
Okay.
So
what command do I write to see all the files which are already there on the VM?
On the VM, you are talking in terms of input file which you have to give.
No, I mean I want to see what are the files already there. So I gave Hadoop fs -ls. So it gives me just 3 folders: trash, job sub, Uzi.
Yeah. So Rohit, when you are before answering you, when you are saying Hadoop fs -ls, that is showing the default location, that is /user/u. So by default is displaying the folders inside the user by which you have logged in.
Okay.
It's showing all the files and folders inside that /user/u. And if you have to go inside another folder, just press /user/u/ that folder name, and it will print the other files which are inside that folder. And if you have to create your own folder, use -mkdir and create your own folder. If you have to put the file from your Unix machine to the LGFS machine, you can use Hadoop fs -put the corresponding file name on the local file system and the file and the precise location where you want to put the file into the LGFS directory.
Okay. So put command I can run here itself, or
okay, I'm just giving you the presenter, right? I've given you the presenter, right? Just share your screen. Okay, yeah. So if you have any file over here in your Unix box, or you can create a file by VI and put that file into SDFS. So if you have any file over here, you can transfer it. So I think like make file is there. I think I can see make file or something like that is there. So either you can use any of these files, or you can just transfer the license.txt file. So you have to just type Hadoop fs -put.
okay.
So Hadoop, Rohit, you can use this sandbox which is started for you to type the commands, but is not very user friendly, and this will disable most of your features like copy paste and things like that. So I personally prefer to use putty for that.
Okay.
I connect I just do a SSH to this sandbox with the help of putty. That will be easier for you to run, but you can write the command over here also. Yeah. So in Hadoop software, there's something called putty. You can just double click it. and type the IP address as 127.0.0.1 and port as 2222. Port as 4 times 2. Yeah, and press enter. Just press enter.
So I say yes.
Yes. Now
And here what is?
login as Hugh, Hugh, and password as Hadoop. Now you are there.
Okay.
So now if you do ls, the same file would be over here also. Yeah, license.html. So you have to just fire a command Hadoop fs minus put. And the local file name which you want to put. And the path where you want to put this file into SDFS. So SDFS path where you want to put.
So is that always oblique user oblique something?
No, you can put it anywhere. Only the thing is your user should have the rights. So this you has the rights right now everywhere. So you can put it anywhere. So the user which you are using, by which you have logged in, the same user permissions are also created on SDFS word, same to the Unix word, and the user should have just the permissions to for the right in the folder.
So I ran this command. So is it putting the file?
Yeah. So now it has placed the file. Now it has placed the file at your user lib Hue folder. User Hue folder. So don't go over there. Don't go over there. You can do directly ls over here only. So Hadoop fs minus ls and then slash user usr. User. Slash u. Yeah.
Okay.
And press enter, and this file would be here, I think. So by default, it places the file in your user library, user directory. If you have not given the
okay.
So license.txt. Now you have to run the Hadoop program by giving this file as an input and output some location.
Okay. Okay.
And before
so I can use. Okay.
You can use putty for everything. That other VM box is not user friendly. So keep it open. That is your machine running, but you can use putty for everything else. And before running the program, you have to copy the ZAR file from the software folder to here. So you can use WinSTP for that.
Okay, I got it. Thank you.
Sure, thank you. So Akash, Abhijat, I think is left. Okay, Abhijat is left. I think Abhijat is left. So Akash, I'll come back to you again. I'm putting Rohit on you. Hi Akash.
Can you give the other Akash Govill, the control?
Oh, okay. So there are two Akash. Okay, I'm giving the control to another Akash. Make presenter. Yeah, I made you the presenter.
Can you see my screen?
Not till now. You have to share the screen explicitly, I think. There's from the share window option.
Yeah, just give me one second. Okay. Okay, it's asking me to download an extension. Just give me 1 second.
Sure.
And can I select multiple windows to share?
I think you have to either share the whole screen or particular program.
Okay. It tells me that my screen has been shared. Yes.
No. There are two Akash. I have given the control to Akash Govil as a web presenter.
Yeah. And I see. It's telling me that my screen is shared, but
Yeah, now I can see your screen. Yes.
okay, perfect. So I was able to put the
Okay. Akash, we don't have to put the ZARs into your Hadoop, but if you remember the task tracker and job tracker flow which I have explained to you, I as a user just give a signal to run this program into SGFS Word on the corresponding file, and it's all the responsibility for the job tracker and task tracker and basically the job submitted to put this file into SGFS Word and run the logic for you.
okay.
So all you have to do is now Hadoop ZAR. Yeah, before that your input file should be there. So what is your input file which you will be giving?
user/q. I've already created an input file in this folder, Akash.
Okay, that is on root, right?
Yeah.
No, that is not on root. I think that is user hue Akash. That would be. Yeah, probably it would be here.
Okay, so I have my input file here.
Okay, so now all you have to do is now your input file is ready, your ZAR file is there. You have to just trigger the command Hadoop ZAR, ZAR file name, fully qualified, word count, class name. Either you can check it in the Java file which is shared in the code, or I'll ping you on the chat window what is the fully qualified class name. Just give me a minute. I'll ping you on the chat window for your convenience. So your command would look something like this. So on the chat window, I've given the fully qualified class name as well as the command prefix, and after that you have to give the input and output directory, and you will be able to run your first word count program. So just try with that, and I'll come back to you. Girish, is your BIOS problem resolved? I'm unmuting you, Girish. Looks like he's away. So Kamalji, Girish is there. Hi, Girish.
Yeah, well, actually, sorry, I am able to see that when I install that SPS exe file. It says when I go into that CPU, it says supported but disabled. So I'll have to enable it going into the BIOS.
So
I'll do it probably after the call.
Okay.
And also, would you share this session video also?
So to get the session video, all you have to do is just drop an email to admin@designpartial.com, and they will send you the link where you can access this video.
Sure, perfect.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sure. So Kamalji, yeah, Akash. Kamalji, I'm also unmuting you. After Akash, you can go ahead. Yeah, Akash.
Can you? Does this look okay?
1 minute. Let me maximize your screen. Hadoop ZAR, Mapreduce, snapshot.zar. Yeah, looks fine to me. Yeah, you can just press enter, and you have to wait your output, and output will be available in your output folder.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Kamalji, are you able to boot up the machine and able to log into that?
My VM is still working, and it's as per the current status, it is starting Falcon.
Okay, so Falcon is a layer on top of Uzi, which is a workflow engine which helps you to manage your workflow across the clusters. So this is the latest thing which has been added to Hadoop latest version. Sorry, this Hortonworks latest release.
Yeah, so I have to, so my machine is still not ready.
Okay, sure. So we'll wait for it to come up, and after that I'll come back to you. Sure.
Okay.
Okay. Rohit, I'm unmuting you. Are you able to run it? Facing any issues?
Yeah, Miraj, I created a folder. I took my jar file to Hadoop file system.
You don't have to put
Now,
your
how do I change?
you don't have to put your JAL file to your Hadoop file system. If you remember the job tracker whole flow, the job tracker and task tracker flow which I've shared with you people, we as a client just give a command to run my logic, and it's the responsibility of your job submitter to submit your logic into SDFS and make that available to your data nodes. So we don't have to move that logic to our SDFS file system. Only the thing which we require on SDFS file system is the files, the real big files which we want to process. So here our real big file is the input file which we are creating, just a dummy file which has some text.
Okay. So when we submit the job, it takes the jar from Unix file system, not from the Hadoop file system, right?
Yes. You can give the Hadoop file system jar also, but that's the responsibility of your job submitter.
So we create the folder inside the Hadoop file system, or we create the folder in Unix system?
I'm giving you the control also, so that I can understand what you're saying. So the file is the data which you are processing. So the data which you are processing is the big data that will be lying in your SDFS file system only. So all of your big data which you want to process is lying in your SDFS. You as a user is just writing the logic and submitting that logic to your job submitter, and that will be running that logic for you and doing the data processing.
Yeah, so as a submitter, when I give the input file, I give the input file of SDFS file system and path, right?
Yes.
And then output folder I give, right? So I created one folder there, Rohit.
Okay.
How do I go inside that folder and then create another folder for output or something?
So all you have to do is you have created a folder in SDFS, right?
Right.
So if you do SDFS FS and press enter, you will see all the options which are available with the SDFS FS command. There's some option called mkdir also.
Okay, what did you say? SDFS?
Sorry, Hadoop. You can use Hadoop or SDFS, or you can use Hadoop also. Hadoop FS, Hadoop space FS. Hadoop.
Okay, that gives all the list of commands, right?
So yeah, there's a command called mkdir also.
Okay. No, my question was how to change the directory. Now I have to go inside the directory to create another directory, right?
Yeah. So Rohit, as you are, what is displayed to you is just the metadata which is written from the name node. So you can't change the directory. You can just look into different directories. So if you want to look in some other directory, you have to say ls/akash also. So /user/u/Rohit. So as a user, you are just seeing the metadata which is written from the name node. The real data is spread across the cluster. You can't go inside.
Okay.
Okay.
Got it. Thank you.
So you can just do Hadoop FS -ls and the corresponding folder, the full folder name.
Okay.
You can also try the file browser on the browser window 127.0.1.
Yeah, so I was not coming to that part because if you try to run it over here, you will understand the complexity of the system. Then I'll prefer you to use that browser. But that's the reason I have not pointed to that browser till now.
So Akash, this 127.0.0.1, right?
Yeah.
This is just another IP my system has got, right? But my native IP is different, right?
This is your local host.
This is your local host on which your VM is, the sandbox is running on the port 8000.
Okay.
It's listening on the port 8000.
Okay. And this local host is not accessible from outside, right? If somebody tries to ping me on this local host, he won't be able to, right?
No, if you are on the network, you can create another port, how I created for Kamaljeet, and you can listen.
Port forwarding.
Not port forwarding. I've enabled one more Ethernet port for Kamaljeet, and that's listening on some other IP, so you can use that IP over the network.
Okay.
So meanwhile, I was able to run the program and I got the output.
No, great. So, Akash, would you like to write some Mapreduce code? Shall I share the problem statement with you?
Yeah, please do.
Okay, but before that, could you start your Eclipse and try to look into the Mapreduce code so that you get little feeling of the code? And I'll share.
Yeah, if you can quickly tell me what.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. I have used Eclipse before, but I don't know.
So Akash, how much is the RAM in your PC?
It's 4 GB, but for now what I've done is I've reduced the size of this
VM.
sandbox.
Okay, so for a time being, you can just close the sandbox and open Eclipse. If you open both of them, they will just kill your system. Yeah, for a time being, you can just close this VM sandbox and open the Eclipse, and I'll come to you in a minute. I'll help you how to deal with it.
If I just pause the sandbox,
probably that would not help because that will not release your RAM. I think the power off will only release your RAM. I think.
Okay.
Okay. So Rohit, I hope you will be able to run it after this. If you still face issues, I'll come back to you again.
Okay.
Okay, and from the browser also, from the Chrome also, you can browse it 127.0.0.1:8000 and press enter. Yeah. So it's a little slow. So you can close other applications to give it some breathing space. So here a form will come for you if you're logged in first time, and just fill that form and press and submit it, and it will take you to the login screen. And the login user is you, and the password is written on that screen only. Kamaljeet, any success?
Nothing, Miraj. I'm at the same level of Falcon.
So I think
even in the morning I tried to install it. It had took a pretty long time for my server to get restarted. I thought probably this is for the first time it's taking long time.
No.
But probably that's the nature of my machine.
Yeah, I think it's requiring CPU and RAM, which is little scarce over there. So yeah. So over here, just go to the file browser, Rohit. On top, first, second, third, fourth, fifth button, the brown color button on the top, the fifth one from the start. Yeah. So here also, from here also, you can browse your file system. Now this is the file system which you're browsing, is your SGFS file system. Not here, Rohit. You can see a lot of icons in the green color, in the green strip. The fourth icon in that fifth icon in that green strip, the brown color icon. Okay. So, Akash, I'm coming to you. By the time Rohit is running this program, Rohit, you will be able to run it. Looks like he's talking on mute or something. So, Akash, I'm coming to you. So, I'm giving you the control again to your Akash Govil user.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you open Eclipse, so double click on that Eclipse. Yeah. So, okay, great. You have imported the project also, and just cancel it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
which
but no. You have, I think, created a new project, or you have imported it.
I created a new project.
Okay. You don't have to create the project. You can just directly import the project which I have shared with you. That is lying in the source folder.
The file system.
Yeah, existing project into workspace. Existing project into workspace. Yeah, click on next and browse the project. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, inside code. Yeah, they just browse this Hadoop project, this Maven project. You require a Maven. If you want to go over the Maven, I can explain you right now, or you can use this Hadoop project. Yeah, and just click on OK. Just click on.
Yeah, there's no project found.
Sorry, just a minute. Let me check. Just a minute.
Yeah, and that's where I was struggling. I was trying to do this, but I was not able.
Okay, just a minute. Let me cross check. There is a .project file in this folder. Can you go to this? Go to your Explorer, Windows Explorer. Go to the Windows Explorer. Yeah, go into that Hadoop folder. Yeah, there is a .project file.
No, I don't have the .project here.
There's the underscore project is basically the .project file. Just a minute. Just a minute. This underscore project file, rename it to .project, and underscore class file, rename it to .class path. .project. Yeah, press enter. You will not be able to. Okay, not a problem. Escape it. Not a problem. Just escape it. Not a problem. Go back to your Eclipse and press OK. Press OK. The file is not available over there. So what we'll do is we'll create a new project rather than this, and we'll import this code into that new project. Okay. Or
new Java project?
Yeah, just new Java project. Actually, that file is renamed over the network from dot to underscore. Yeah, and click on finish. So now just right click on properties, right click properties. No. Cancel it. Right click properties. Yeah. And select this, go to this C user A450599 workspace Mapreduce. Yeah, so, and inside the source folder, put that source which was there over there. And parallel to source, there was one directory also called lib. Put those two folders over there.
And override the source?
Yeah, you can override the source. Yeah, yes. And go over there, project, and just refresh it. Right click on the project and refresh it. So yeah, source is there. Now just right click on this project as your class path is also not imported. Just right click on this project.
Yeah.
Click on build, where is it gone? Click on build path, go to the build path. No, where is that option gone? Configure build path. Yeah, so inside libraries tab, there's a libraries tab. The third one, the libraries tab. Yeah. Click on add jars. Add jars. and inside lib select all the jars inside lib folder which is visible to you. Select all the jars, select all of them, press OK. Press OK.
Okay. Now it looks okay.
Now I got it. Now your word count program is there, and some other programs are also there. All the programs would not be there. Now when you have to create your own jar, just go to File, Export, File, Export, and type runnable jar, or inside, runnable jar, this one. Click on Next. Click on Next, and here you just check. So right now none of the class file is running because you have not tried running any of the class file in your Java world. So once you right click on the file and click as Run as Java, that will come in this drop down which is saying launch configuration. The export destination is your file system where you want to export that jar, and package the required libraries into the generated jar and click on Finish, and the jar will be created for you, and then you can run that jar.
Okay, perfect.
Sure. So I'll be sharing you the problem statement also, which which you can try at the backend over your daytime, and try to use it. These are just few of the programs which I've discussed in the class. Other programs, all the programs which I'm discussing are lying in the another project. So you can just copy the files from Java files from there to here.
Okay.
Okay. So I don't want it to you to go into the complexities of Maven because you are not much familiar with the Java words. So that's why I've just given you the easier version.
Okay. And the command that you gave on chat, right? Hadoop jar Mapreduce, the jar file name, and then you gave the class file name.
So now when you are creating this executable jar, you don't have to give that class file name. You can directly run it because you are creating explicitly executable file. So your jar file will have main phase that will be pointing to your main class.
Okay. Okay. Got it.
Okay. Sure. Hey Kamaljeet, are you any success?
No, sir. I am in that same position.
Okay. It might take some time.
So I don't think there would be any progress going to happen in a short time.
Okay. So just try to run it, and after you run it, I'll just quickly show you what you have to do it. So I'll show you on my screen what you have to do it. So Akash, I'm taking the presenter right from you, and I'm making.
So you are going to share the problems over email?
No, you will get another link from the Google Drive also. There are problem statements based on each section which you are talking about. I'll be keep on putting the problem statement into the same shared drive as soon as the topic is over, and I'll be telling you, and you can try those problem statements with the data is also in the shared drive. So the data which is related to that problem statement would be lying in the same folder. And there's a document which is talking about the problem statement.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
So can I drop off, or is there anything?
Yeah, if you want to drop a file, you can drop a file. I'll share you the problem statement over the email. Yeah. And if you want to run another program, you can try it over here. And if you face any problem, I can help you as you wish.
Okay.
Sure. Okay.
All right. Thanks.
Sure. Thank you. So just a minute. Who was that? I'm coming back to you. Let me explain to Kamaljeet how once his VM is started, how he can look into the IP address. So Kamaljeet, I hope you can see my screen.
Yes, I could.
So once this screen comes up, you have to just press Alt F5 as written at the bottom of the screen, and this will take you inside this screen. And after that, all you have to do is just press ifconfig, and this will tell you what is the another IP address on which is enabled on the another Ethernet port for you. And you can use that IP address on the port 2222 to log in via PuTTY, or you can just type your commands on this console also.
Okay.
Okay. So I'll wait for your machine to come up, and then we can talk about that. So Abhijat says never left.
Okay.
So Abhijat, but I can't see you in the attendees list, and okay, now you are back. So previously I was not able to see you in the attendees list, and I have not talked about you. So Abhijat, I am coming to you. Kamaljeet, any other questions?
No, not at this time.
Okay, Sure. So Abhijat, unfortunately, I can't unmute you. I think you are logged into via phone or something. But I can give you the parental rights, and we can look into what you are doing. So Abhijat, I've given you the parental rights, but I am not able to unmute you. You can unmute yourself. Yeah, Abhijat, we can see your screen. So I hope you were able to start your VM and able to log into that.
Abhijat, you are not audible.
Yeah, he's on mute and I don't see any option to unmute him also. Okay, I think there's an option over here. I've sent you an audio pane over your phone line and that might enable your unmute option. See if you can unmute by dialing, pressing #73#. You can press #73# if you have dialed in from the phone line to unmute yourself. So Abhijat, although I can see your screen, if you can show me how you have logged into the VM, I can help you. I can't hear you. No, Abhijat, you are not audible. Mm. No, Abhijat, looks like you're going offline or online. I'm not sure. There's some issue with either your network or how you have joined. I'm not sure. Now I can see your screen, but I can't hear you. So if you can open the sandbox and we can see if you are able to log into the sandbox. If you can just, I don't see you have started the sandbox. Are you facing any issues while starting it? You can type on the chat window. We can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Is that better now?
Yeah, yes, much better.
Okay, I'm back. Well, I think this is just you just saw a short version of what is going to come. I'm struggling with almost everything on my computer. All the technologies are sort of, giving me a hard time today. So I've got this thing, and can you see my screen?
Yes, I can see your Gmail opened with the latest slide folder.
Well, but you cannot see my Windows screen now?
No, I think it's a little slow from that end.
Okay, I'll wait.
Not yet. Looks like you're again going offline. So Avijat, you can just try on keep on speaking. I can see your screen, but I can't hear you. And now I can see your desktop. And by the time Abhijat is again back, I can see your Hortonworks sandbox folder, and I can also see on our desktop that you have installed the VirtualBox VM. You can just double click that, and I hope you have imported the sandbox sandbox inside that. No worries, Abhijat. I'll try my best to help you. But if you can just open the VirtualBox which is installed on your PC, I'll help you with the further steps. So by the time Avijat is opening his virtual, don't open this OVA file. This need to be imported. Just open the VirtualBox which is installed on your PC. I can see the icon of that on your desktop. I was able to see the icon of how to the installed VirtualBox on your desktop. On your desktop, there is an icon to open this. So I was able to see that. So by the time Abhijat is going to his desktop and starting the VirtualBox, Akash, are you able to run it? Any questions?
Me? No, I'm good. I was able to run the program and I got the output.
Okay, great, good. So also, was it Akash whom I discussed the Eclipse part, or was it Rohit whom I discussed the? I think it was Akash, right?
Sorry, what was that, Miraj?
So I was just saying, was it
Akash?
Yeah, Akash. Okay, so sorry. So when I'm dealing with so many people, sometimes I get confused for that. So okay, so sure. Sorry. So that question was not for Akash. That was for Rohit. Rohit, are you able to run it? Able to get the output?
Miraj, my machine was hung up actually. I'm still.
Okay. So Rohit, you can also intelligently just change the memory which is allocated to your machine to 2 GB rather than the 4 GB or 3 GB by default. If you are also running it on 4 GB RAM.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, you can just dedicate it only 2 GB by just clicking right click and going on go to settings, and you can change it over there.
So quick question, Miraj. So when we are moving files to this HDFS, right, on this sandbox, so is the image file of the sandbox getting updated? So the next time
Yes. You have to just power it off, and that will enable all your image to be updated, and next time that everything will be available for you.
Okay. So I won't lose any of the files that have.
Yes. Otherwise, that would have been pathetic. Yeah. Start from scratch every time you start it up. Okay, so Girish, I hope you will not be able to proceed further because of the BIOS setting which is disabled on you. Any other question which you have?
Nothing as such. Things are quite easy. I'll have to retake the class in the recording, and probably then things will be much clearer.
Yes. Just try it out, and if you still face any issues, you are on IST timing. You can directly ping me anytime.
Okay, sure.
So okay. So Akash, okay. By the time I am not sure, Abhijat. So Abhijat, I'm again trying to. You are still the presenter. I am again trying to unmute you. If possibly, I can hear you. No, looks like some issues. Sorry for that. So Abhijat says, I think that was sometime back. Abhijat said, sorry for the trouble. I guess I'm struggling. Okay. Okay. So Abhijat, just try it out. If you still face issues, we can have a call over the phone or sometime, and we can discuss this if there's some issue with your voice over here. Okay, so by the time Kamaljeet, your machine is getting up, and Ganesh, you're not. So Rohit is also able to run it. So let me talk about the problem statement, and I think then I'll start the advanced Mapreduce in the next session. That will make more sense. So I'll just talk about the problem statement, and we'll show you that what you have to do over there. Try to write a Java code as much as possible. If not able, do not worry about that. But if you are able to think how you will be able to process the data, how you will be able to, how you are creating the key and value pair, that's fair enough. We'll be doing much hands-on on Hive and Pick part. As you are not much familiar with the Java part, I don't want to bring into the complexities of this word. So let me open the problem statement. Give me a minute. Okay, so I'm just sharing my screen. So these are the two files in the Mapreduce problem folder. I'll be sharing this folder with you. There are other problems also. I'll keep on sharing those problems with you as soon as we are done with the program. So here, this is the data which is dumped from Wikipedia. This is a CSV file, a small file. I have not taken the whole dump file. So, and this problem statement talks about what is the kind of data in this file. This talks about what is the data in this file. That file contains this all data, comma separated. And at the end of the program, I've just given a program statement where we have to just compute the top idea. So this data has an idea and the corresponding the votes and the positive and negative votes which were given to that idea. So we have to just read that file, do somehow the data processing, and produce the top winning idea. So, and do not forget to remove the header from the CSV file while you are importing it to LGFS Word. Otherwise, your first record would be a little bit corrupted. So, in the CSV file, normally you will get the header. So, these kind of manual things you might have to do sometime. So, just do not forget to remove the header. I have not explicitly removed it to make you understand the data. If the header is there, it will be easier for you to understand the data. So, just try to play with this data. Try to come up with a solution. Try to find out the top win. And if you are able to run the top win, try to find out top 10 wins and try to run it by creating your Mapreduce program. Then we can play with the same data with Hive also. We can play with the same data with Pick also with single line. But if you are able to write a Mapreduce program, you will get more confidence and you will be able to look into how your real key and values are created. Makes sense, Akash, Rohit?
Yeah, it makes sense. Can you quickly show the, so I didn't get the problem statement. So
problem statement, okay. So this data, if you look into the data is something like this. Wikipedia idea text, wins, loses, and so on. What we are doing is just calculating wins minus loss. So I'm just subtracting these two columns and this gives me the idea score. A same idea could have been submitted. So the John Miller is the idea name. So the same idea is submitted by two people over here. So the total score of this idea is sum of these two things.
Okay.
So I have to just find out the top scored idea. So now you have to think what would be your key from the mapper class, what will your key input to your mapper class, what will your key output from your mapper class, what will be the key input to your reducer class, and what will be the output from the reducer class.
Okay, got it.
Okay. So I'll share this statement with you all, and here. So I'm just sharing it to you. Just give me a minute. So I'll also share it with the other batch. Okay, so I've shared this thing with you, and this contains the data as well as the problem statement. Rohit and Akash, you could try this. Abhijat, I'm not sure what is the problem with your end. Kamaljeet, any success? Or Abhijat, whenever you think you're audible, just try it. Keep on speaking. We could sometime can hear you.
Am I audible now?
Yes, you're audible. Very much audible.
Okay, I had to restart the system completely. It looks like it's all jammed.
Okay, so I have given you the presenter rights. Before starting a VM now, reduce the configuration to this VM. So just double click on this Oracle VirtualBox on the desktop,
okay.
on your desktop only. On your desktop, there is Oracle VirtualBox. Yeah, double click it. Yeah, so right click on this Hortonworks sandbox and reduce its RAM size which is consuming on your PC. Settings. Yeah. And inside system. Yeah, you can reduce this consuming your 4 GB of RAM. You can reduce it to 1 GB, 2 GB or something.
Oh.
So yeah, 2 GB is fair enough for it. It will run perfectly fine. And just press OK. And now start it up. So now it will just consume 2 GB of RAM. About it.
Yeah.
Try it again. Virtual machine terminated unexpectedly. Just start it again.
I think I uninstalled the virtual machine too.
Oh, okay. Okay.
My bad, but I was just trying to restart everything.
Okay, so you can just delete it and re-import another one. You can just re-import another OVF file, the same OVF file again. You can delete it, remove it, and delete all files. And you can import again your OVF file.
Is that the right one?
Yep. Yeah, click.
It takes a while, I guess.
Yeah, it will take a while. It will find out all the files in this OVF file and will create all the files that you're in your will put it in your file system. It will take some time, and after that reduce the RAM again and try to start it up. Oh, it will take.
Oh, the RAM will go back to 4 GB then?
Yeah, probably yes.
Okay.
You can just reduce it and it will take 22 minutes. So I think this will take a lot of time again.
Yeah, sorry about this. I should have been better prepared, I guess, but I did not have the idea of I can reduce the RAM size.
Okay. So don't worry, I'm there for all those things, and we'll be keep on discussing all these things in our session so that you people are aware of and you do not face any issues. So
okay, thank you.
Okay, so Kamalji, any success?
Well, yes, there are 3 more steps which it had gone through after which, but still it's not active to utilize it. The current step it's showing is starting ground.
Okay, I think then you would be at least able to log in now. Just a minute. I'm coming to you. You can share your screen. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Is your CPU very much utilized or what? It's taking so much time. It takes some time, but it do not take so much time. Cron D sandbox. Yeah. I think your almost VirtualBox is started. You might be able to log into this. Just try it from the putty. You might be able to log in now. But we don't know the IP address. 127 is blocked for you, right? 127. Okay, so then we have to wait only. I also don't know what would be the default IP which will be coming. It would be 192.168. something. But I don't know what it will come. It will be some 192.168. But after that, I also don't know.
So this won't be working, right?
You said
Or should I try?
you said this was not working. You can try it out.
Yeah,
This was not working, right?
earlier it didn't work.
So
That's
then,
right.
yeah, yes. So then I think we have to wait for it to fully come up, and then we'll find out what is the next new IP, 192.168 dot something dot something.
One other thing you corrected over there is the RAM. So I have already reduced the
Oh,
RAM.
you have reduced it. So you have reduced it drastically to 500 MB. That's the reason your VM is taking so much time to start up. You can at least give it to 2 GB. You should have given it at least 2 GB. I think that is the reason your VM is starting so slowly. Now you can't change it. You have to stop your machine to change it. So you can't change it now.
Okay.
So that is the
Mira?
thing. Yeah.
So I got that. If you could make me the presenter again.
Just give me a minute. Just give me a minute. I'm making a presenter. Just give me a minute.
Inputty I have to do hue and password. Password is not coming so far. So currently it's asking for user ID. What does it mean? Okay, password. And password is Hadoop, right? Which I can't see it. I typed the entire word Hadoop. Miraj, am I audible?
You are audible.
Okay. I'm not sure. I typed the password and I can't see it. Is that okay? That's the behavior?
Yeah, that's strange, but that's the behavior. That's
Okay.
not.
I press the enter if anything happens here. Nothing so far.
So Avijat, I made you the presenter. You are the presenter now.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay, great. So it was still not working. So I uninstalled this. So if I double click this one, should I touch it at all or not? Is this useful at all or not?
No, it's not. No, you have done everything. Nothing of this is of use to you. No, it's starting up. I think. The open file windows need to. No, cancel it. Your VirtualBox was opened up, right? I was able to see that was importing somewhere.
Yeah. So what happened was, it did import everything, and I reduced the size to 2 GB, and then I started it again, and it gave me the same error that kernel is not found.
Okay. So go to your go to your My Documents.
My doc.
And no, not here. I think what is the default directory? Go to that 1 minute. Let me find out what is the default directory. Just a minute. Okay. So Abhijat, go to this file and click on Preferences.
Which file?
No. On this open that VirtualBox software.
This one?
This one exe. Open the software from your program files. Yeah, Oracle VirtualBox.
You see it?
Where is it gone? That was on your desktop. I'm not sure why it's not visible in your program file. That is on your, the link was on your desktop. Where's that gone?
Well, I think I installed it.
Oh, okay. Okay. So just install it again and go to just install it again.
This one?
Yeah. I think everything was running on PC while you installed it. Yeah, click on next. Yeah, next. Yeah.
Sorry. I just wanted to, you know, when it was not working, I did not know what exactly went wrong in the process, so I
Okay.
installed everything.
Use the best way to install it. Okay, not a problem.
I wish I was any better than this. I'm sorry.
So once installed, open the preferences. Yeah, it's installed. Yeah, open this. That's there at the bottom.
Okay, it's right here.
Yeah, click on file. Click on file. Preferences. Is it startable now or is still giving the same error? If it's giving the same, yeah, just try it out. If it's giving an error, we'll try it. Yeah, you can change. Yeah, it's 2 GB.
Now it's fine.
Fine. Yeah. So it has picked all the files which are lying in your file folder. It has picked it automatically. Just try to just start it. Otherwise, we'll delete all the files which are created by this machine and.
Not. I don't think I've seen this screen ever.
Okay. So it's determining the IP on Ethernet port 0. It's done. Okay. So it's starting up. It will take some time and it will start up.
Okay.
Miraj, when I get to this screen, it says some kernel is not found. I just tried to, even I just reduced this thing. In the settings, I went and changed the system. The RAM I reduced it to 2 GB, and then it started. It says running, but in that other window with the black window, it says this kernel requires 8664 CPU, but only detects something less.
That was Girish, right?
Yeah.
Oh, Girish, I'm coming to you. Just a minute. So Abhijat, let it run, and it will take 2-3 minutes. So based on your CPU and RAM, and then I can come back to you.
Okay. Thank you.
Girish, I'm there.
Yeah, here. So in this screen, I actually, when I ran it, I mean reduced the RAM, and then it's running. It says running,
Yeah.
but in this window, it says something.
You have just close this box. Close this box and this pop-up. No, not this box. The pop-up. Just the pop-up. Not the cancel. Just the pop-up. What is written in the backend?
This one?
No. On that same black window. On the same black window.
Oh, okay.
There is a pop-up. Yeah. So this kernel requires. Okay. So you are 32-bit machine. Is the 32-bit Windows?
I think so. That's why they gave me 8 GB RAM.
No, but 32-bit will not work. 8 GB RAM will not work on 32-bit. The max RAM 32-bit can use is 3 point something GB.
Okay.
Okay.
But it's not that bad either. I don't.
So I think I'll share you the 32-bit Oracle VM VirtualBox and try with that. This is 64-bit. So I'll share with you the 32-bit and try.
Because I remember in the beginning it said virtualization is not enabled in the boot.
Yes.
So I didn't do anything there. I just reduced the RAM size and suddenly it opened up and it says running. So maybe I'll have to just go in the boot and then enable this thing, virtualization.
Yeah, virtualization should be enabled. If your virtualization is disabled, it will not work definitely. It might give some. Okay.
Automatically just came up to this window.
I think probably just try to enable the virtualization.
Okay. There's no other way around it.
Yeah, if you're using Windows 8 in the installation document, there's one more step which you have to follow up. So by default, virtualization is disabled in your software also. So there's one more step which you have to follow up if you're using Windows 8.
Okay.
Okay. Just try that out.
Hi Miraj, this
Hi,
is Rohit.
Hi Rohit.
Miraj, yeah, can you look at my screen, Miraj? I just
Sure.
I did everything. I created input file, but I'm not able to run the command actually.
Okay. I'm making the presenter.
Okay. So Miraj, you see, I'm on
Yeah.
putty.
Yeah.
I have this input file. Input file entries are here.
User view input.text. Okay, fair enough. And
then,
okay, so Girish, now you are using the Mapreduce jar which I've shared with you. So this jar will expect an input, the class which it has to run. It does not have the main class. So you have to give the fully qualified class name, that is a key value text input format. After the jar file name. So com.designpathshala dot your fully qualified class name. And the class name you can find it from the source code which I shared with you. So if you go to if you go to the directory where you have downloaded the code folder, code inside, go to Mapreduce Maven project, Mapreduce Maven project. So this jar is the output of this project. So go to date, go to source, main, Java, com, Design Pathshala, Hadoop, Mapreduce, and you are using input format. So input format, and just right click and open this file with notepad or textpad or anything. Just open it with notepad or anything.
okay. So this is the
this is your package and the file name. So com.designpathshala.hadoop.mapreduce.input format dot your file name. That is a file input to format key value pair. That is written public class, right?
Okay. So here on putty, before this Mapreduce, I have to put all that.
After this jar name space.
Okay.
After the jar name space com dot that thing com dot. You can just copy it better so that you don't make any.
So up to here?
Yeah, till here, yes. Copy and right click over there, right click and dot and go back to the file again. So here you can see a line called public class and class name.
This one?
Yeah, you can, no, public class and class name, line just above this.
Okay.
So there is a class name. So you have to copy this class name also and dot this class name. And right click. Now enter it. Press enter. So
nothing, right? At the rate?
Just press enter. So Rohit, this is the jar which I have created from Maven. So I'm giving the class name. Otherwise, when you will be creating from Eclipse, you don't have to give this class name, fully qualified class name, as you will be creating executable jar. So that's the only difference.
Oh. Okay.
So when you will be creating yourself in the Eclipse world, you will be creating an executable jar. So that will contain this main class inside it.
Okay.
So now your program is running, and probably you will get an output in next few minutes.
So
yeah.
I mean, normally you suggest Eclipse, but we can use IBM products also, right?
Yeah. Relational, yes. You can definitely use the relational. Anything you can use, you have to just edit the Java file. Wherever you can edit, you can use it. All of them have the same interface. So at the backend, they are using Eclipse UI only.
Okay.
So the ratio to street. Yeah, Kamaljit.
I need to show my screen.
Okay.
Something is working and something is not. So
Okay, I'm making the presenter. And Abhijat, I hope you are able to proceed now. I made the presenter, Kamaljit.
Hey Miraj.
Hi, Abhijat.
Hey Miraj, this is Abhijat. Yes, I think I've reached to a level where I can. It's a black screen which says you can access SSH by $SSH root.
Okay. Yeah. So now you have to just go to the software folder. There's a software called putty.exe. You just double click it and type the IP address as 127.0.0.1 and port as 4x2 and press enter and you will be able to log into this machine.
Okay, I'm going to try that now. Thank you.
Sure. Yeah, Kamaljit, I can see your screen. I think just a minute. Yeah.
this is putty.
So
In the putty, the command is awaited and nothing is happening.
So that's the reason. So your system is so slow. Now you are able to start it. You are able to log in it. So and only the reason it's slow is you have given it very less RAM, just 600 MB of RAM. So it takes time to get all the metadata, process the metadata, return the metadata.
Okay, the main question over here is this particular VM box. When I got it back, the Oracle VM, it is showing me username root, password is Hadoop, and it's not showing me any IP address.
So over there, you can just log into that machine with that user also and type ifconfig. That will give you. So the default router, the root router, it is just displaying you the root user. There are other users also created in this image, and that is a Hue user on which you are working on.
So which is the right user to work on, Hue or root?
I think Hue is a better option because root, if you change some files with the root user, we can somehow mistakenly corrupt some files. So you can use the Hue user, which have all the rights for execution and everything, but does not have the rights on the root related files. So you will not corrupt anything. If you have to change some root related files, then you can use you can sudo to your root user.
Okay. Now I'm connected on this particular area, which is with the Hue user.
Yeah. And the password.
And this is the standard one.
Yeah.
So it got connected, but it's not returning anything for me.
So your VM is little slow, which I can see because it's just the RAM issue. You just wait for a few more minutes, it will return. Your VM is running little slow because of the RAM which you have given it to it. It will return, definitely. Okay. It will return. If it has started successfully, it will return.
Okay.
Hi Miraj.
Hi.
Miraj, this is Rohit. Just 2 more minutes. So I ran and actually it ran successfully. It says reduce 100%.
Yeah.
So if you see, I had given, okay. Can I show my screen?
Yep. Okay, just a minute. So Kamaljit, just wait for a few more minutes. If you can't increase the RAM now, you have to stop the VM. Sorry for that. So if you stop your VM, you have to redo all the things. So you can't stop it now, but you just wait for a few minutes, then you will get the output. But after that, you just stop, give it a RAM of 2 GB. That is sufficient.
Okay.
Hi Rohit, I'm at your screen.
Yeah, Miraj. So you see, you helped me to run it. I gave this command, right? Here everything. So here is my input file and here is my output folder path.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So when I go into that folder, I don't see any output created.
Okay, just go down. Just go a little bit up before that. Just go a little bit up before that.
Okay.
Just little bit up, more up. So the mapper has read 4 records. There are 4 lines. Okay, yeah, it has done the process. Okay, just go down now. Okay. So user Hugh Rohit. Rohit, I think you gave an explicitly Rohit path somewhere. Was it this path only?
Yeah, I gave this Rohit folder. So did I give it wrong? I did not give a brace maybe after this.
So your folder is user/Rohit rather than user Hugh Rohit.
Oh, okay. So I should see the file here, you mean?
Yeah, your file would be here.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
Here's the output.
Thanks,
Also.
Viraj.
Sure. Okay, thank you. So Abhijat. Abhijat, any success? Are you able to connect?
Yes, I'm connected.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Now you can just try to play with that. You can run the Mapreduce program also. You have to use transfer that ZAR file. You have to use WinSCP to transfer that file to this machine. And Kamaljeet, are you able to get the output? Oh, sorry, the output of that fs command.
Well, I stopped at make it 2 GB and I am going to restart the server now.
Sure, I think that's a better option.
So starting my
Yep. Just try with the 2 GB and that will help. And Grish, I think you have to reboot your laptop. I can't help on that part. And once you change the BIOS, that will work for you. If you still face any issues, just drop me an email and I'll help you on that part. Okay, sure. So any other questions anyone has? You can try these steps at the back end. Drop me an email if you still face issues. I'll try to resolve those things over the email, and if required, we can have a call also.
Well, Miraj, I think this is Abhijat. I think I've got it set up now. I've connected to Putty and logged in as Hugh,
Okay.
password Hadoop.
Okay, I've given you the presenter rights. Yeah.
So this looks more promising.
Yep.
Could you please tell me how to go about from here?
Yeah. So in the code folder which I've shared on the Google Drive, there's a ZAR lying for you. You don't have to create the ZAR right now. In the code folder.
Here?
Yeah. Yeah. So it just uses ZAR. Yeah. So in the software folder, there's a utility called winscp.exe. If you double click on it, winscp. Yeah.
So what is the jar file really?
This jar file has all the compiled code which I've written, so you don't have to compile the code and create this logic. So this has all the logic which you can run.
Okay.
Which I was running in the class.
Okay. Anything else?
Yeah, username and password, Hugh and Hadoop, and you can save it for future purpose also. Yeah, save the password and click OK and login. Click on login. Yes. So Abhijat, on the left hand side now you can see your local file system, and on the right hand side you can see the Unix file system of that sandbox. So now you can just drag and drop that ZAR file into a particular folder in your Unix file system.
Here?
Yeah, you can just drag. Yeah, you can just drag it to your Unix system. You can create a new folder. Or you can put it on the Hue folder also. You can just.
I can just create a subfolder here.
Yeah, you can just right click over here, and it will give you an option to create a folder.
I know Unix system is case sensitive.
Yeah, so I was just coming to that part. Yeah, just make it small so that later on you don't face issues. Just copy it.
Okay.
So now everything is done. Now your jar file is there. Now you again go to the putty word and you can run your commands.
Okay, now once again, I know I'm stepping back and this is already late, but what does the jar file do again? You said all the intelligence is inbuilt there.
Yeah, the logic which I was discussing in the class, the word count logic, the key value pair logic which I discussed are already there in this jar file. So you can give that logic to your Hadoop to run that logic. So you can just
basically Mapreduce
code
framework.
Yeah, Mapreduce code is there. Not the framework. Framework is designed by Hadoop. This is just the code which I was writing for the Mapreduce.
Okay.
So this.
The Java.
Yeah,
Java code.
The Java code. So you can just play with this command as you are not from the Java background. I'm not going giving you the things like to write the Java code. But in the Hive and the Pig world, I'll be giving you the specific things which you can directly write up. Here I've just given you the stuff which you can directly consume. So here if you run the command, Hadoop zar space the zar file name space your input file and output file, that will run the word count or something for you. So if you go to the putty world,
yes,
and cd to the directory, or or you can just say abhijat / mapreduce or so. Before that, Abhijat, you have to create a file in your HDFS Word on which you will be running a program. So the one way is you can use a Hue UI. Another way is you can create a file over here and you can transfer the file to your HDFS Word. So to create a file over here, you can just use any of the file which is lying over here, like license.txt. So you can put it to your HDFS Word by typing Hadoop fs -put and your file name, that is your say license.txt, L and tab, capital L and tab. Yeah, and right click it and space and say let's put it on your temp directory in your HDFS Word, so /tmp. So this has copied your file to your, just press enter. This will copy your file to your HDFS Word.
Okay, why am I doing this again? Sorry.
So we have some data. We want some data on which we want to run our logic. So
yes.
Practically your data would be there in HDFS Word, but now as a developer I have to put some data on which I can run my logic. So we are just putting some data on which will be running the logic.
Okay. Okay. So this is the file. This is the input file license.txt.
Yep. So now you can run that logic by firing a command called Hadoop jar. Then your abhijat.
Oh, right.
And then you have to give the fully qualified class name also. Now I'll just ping you again that thing on the chat window. Just give me a minute. So I've just pinged you on the chat window the fully qualified class name. You can copy it directly over here.
So, and this is inside the jar file.
Yeah, this is inside the jar file. So I'm just telling the Hadoop system where the logic is inside this jar file and the logic name is this. Run it on this input data. No, you have to give the input and output folders also. The input file is the file.
I just copied it and it's copied with an enter.
Oh, okay. And /temp and your file name, /temp and the license.txt. No license here. So Abhijat, now you are looking into the HDFS system. The same directory might be in your Unix Word also, but here you have to give the HDFS file path so that you cannot browse like tab or something.
Okay.
And everything is capital license.
Oh, you're right.
Oh, license spelling.
Thank you, Kamalji.
So you can either copy it, okay, and then space and some output directory. So you can just give say /temp/output only.
Can I keep the output in Abhijat folder so I can see it later?
So Abhijat folder is in your Unix Word. Your output will be placed in your HDFS Word.
Okay, I need to get that basic thing as well.
Yeah, that's the reason I'm asking you people to run this command so that you get these basic things. I'm not worried about the Java program. I'm just worried about you get the basics so that that will be easier for you in the later on session. So that's the reason I'm wanting everyone to run this program. So Abhijat, you can't give the file name to the reducer because reducer will be creating its own file. If there are more than one reducer, they'll be creating the files inside your directory. And the directory should not be existing again for the same logic. So you have to give some directory which is not existing. So temp is a directory which is existing in SGFS word. So you have to give some other name. Yeah. So or you can give inside temp something. Yeah, this will work. And press enter. So there's a new directory which will be created by the name of temp_Abhijat and your root in your SGFS file system, and that will contain your word count.
I have got some progress, Miraj.
Yeah, okay, sure, I'll come to you. So Abhijat, probably you will get an output now, and to look into that output, you have to browse the SGFS file system, not your local Unix file system. So you have to type a command called Hadoop fs-ls to the directory, or Hadoop fs-cat and the corresponding file name.
Okay. But how would I know the file name? Because I don't know it yet.
Yeah, so you can just do Hadoop fs-ls and the directory. So that will give all the files inside the directory.
Okay. Hadoop fs-ls and then
slash temps_Abhijat to the directory under which your output would be placed.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Sure. So Kamalji, I made you the presenter.
Okay. So I have updated it to 2 GB and restarted it.
Okay,
start getting response.
Yeah. Yep.
So this is the first response I got, and
yeah.
this is going on standard.
Yeah.
Though I'm at this particular time, what next is I need to understand further.
Okay, so what I was explaining to Abhijat is the same thing. So now you can run your Mapreduce program. So you can try one Mapreduce program to run. So that you get a real experience of where is the SGFS and what's the difference between your Unix word and the SGFS word. So if you go to the your Google Drive code folder, I've shared a file called mapreduce.zar.
So I have right over here. You have shared. Not the library,
not
the code, right?
Yeah, code folder, yes.
Okay. Code. That's the zip file.
Again, you can just unzip it.
Yep. So back in Hadoop area, here is code.
Yeah, just unzip it, and this will contain something called Mapreduce jar, which everyone is running. So you can use that.
Okay. Unzip. Okay.
Fair enough. Now go to the softwares folder. Yeah, just go to the softwares folder. There's a utility called WinSCP, which will help you to do a FTP to your Unix world. Yeah.
WinSCP.
So
and this port is 127.
Yeah, and the port is 4 times 2, and user is and password is Hadoop.
Port is 4 times 2. Okay, that's it.
Yeah, if you want to save it, you can save it, and otherwise you can just press login.
Server host key was not found.
Yes. Yeah, put it in cache. So on left hand side, you can browse your file system, and right hand side is your Unix word. So you have to just drag that from the left hand side. You have to drag that file to your Unix word.
Okay, and before to that, I should create a directory over here.
You can keep it directly over here, or if you want, you can create a new directory. That's all your wish.
Okay. Hadoop. Oops, I should rename it as all in small. Okay, and
just drag that jar file from your code folder to here.
Right. So that would be under my desktop.
So yeah.
And the jar file.
Yeah, just drag it over there.
Hadoop code, copy.
Yep. So now we have the jar in your. So now we have copied the jar from our Windows world to our Linux world. Now we'll be transferring the jar from our Linux world to our HDFS world.
All right.
So the jar will automatically be transferred with the help of job tracker and the task tracker. All you have to just fire the command. So if you go, yeah. So from your yeah. So from here, first before that you want some file on which you will be running this logic. So you have to just put some file in your HDFS world. So either you can create a file or you can transfer the file. So if you do ls, there will be a same file license.txt for you also. You can just transfer that file to your HDFS world on which we'll be running this logic. So if you just press ls, that will display the display your local Linux files. So
Okay.
there's a file called license.txt. Yeah. So you can just put this file into your HDFS on which we can run our Mapreduce count program. So Hadoop fs minus put space the file name. Just right click it, it will type it for you. And you can put this directory, say in the temp directory of HDFS, so /temp, and press enter.
That's it?
Yeah, that's enter. So now we are putting our files into our HDFS to play with. Practically in your Hadoop cluster, the data would be there for you by the admin team, or somehow your data would be there with the help of some other command which will be learning.
Right.
But right now we are just
Right.
putting some data to play with our logic.
Okay. So now this file, this take time?
No, it will not take time. It will have to just communicate with the name node and find the blocks which are free.
Okay. Done.
So now you can run your Mapreduce program. So Hadoop Hadoop jar, and the folder inside which you have placed that jar, I think that was Kamaljit something, or Hadoop codes, I think.
This one.
Hadoop code. Hadoop code. So Hadoop code H and 10 tab.
Oh, I have to do user lib here?
No. You just press no.
I'm already there.
No. So here you can't start. This is you're looking into the root. You can't look into the root. Remove that slash from the start of this. Just type H and press tab key on your keyboard.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then again press capital M or just press tab. Capital M or just press tab. Yeah. And
Yeah, that's a single file.
and now the file name that is in your chat window, that is there in your chat window, right hand side.
This one, right?
The com design Pathshala in your chat window.
This one.
Uh,
Yeah, that's the same one. Word count.
yeah. Just right click.
And control V?
Right click.
Right click. Okay.
And then the input file which we have created right now, that is /tmp/license.txt.
License. Will it come automatically? No. This won't come.
Now this is your HDFS word.
License.txt.
And space some output folder where you want to put the output.
Okay. Outcome. That's it?
Yep. And press enter. So this will run your Mapreduce program. The file will be read from your HDFS/temp for license.txt, and the output would be placed in this folder into your HDFS world.
Awesome.
Okay.
So that's after that same command of ls and then
Yes.
cat.
Yes. Hadoop fs and cat. Yes. So Abhijat, I hope you are also able to see your output now.
I could run it. It went to the end, but I could not run the cat command clearly. I was trying Hadoop fs
Okay.
ls temp, Abhijat. It is not.
I'll quickly come to you before ending the session. So I've given you a presenter, right? You can share a screen quickly. Yeah. So Hadoop FS. So now you have to interact. Now you have to interact with the Hadoop file system. So you have to use everything with the Hadoop FS minus cat. Minus cat.
Oh, minus cat.
Yeah. And press enter. Just press enter.
Miraj, I'll have to take your leave, man. I'll anyway follow up with the...
Sure. I think, yeah. Everyone can just I think Abhijat and Kamaljit were facing some issues. So I'm just trying to resolve that. Everyone else can leave. Yeah, sure.
Right.
Abhijat, you have to give the file name also after cat. Space the file name. /temp /temp _ Abhijat part R000.
Oh, that's all?
Yeah, and the file name also, yeah, and press enter. So now we are interacting with the Hadoop file system.
The only difference. Oh wow.
So, or you can use a Hadoop Hue UI also. If you go to your browser and type 127.0.0.1:8000, that will open the Hue UI where you can directly browse the file system. :8000.
Why 8000?
8000 port on which it's listening.
But all this while it was 2222.
That was SSH. We were doing SSH. This is a Hue UI.
Okay.
So here also, from here also, you can browse the same file system which you have created right now. And the output also you can look from here also.
Okay. So here.
Yeah. So on the green is type, on the green is type the fifth button. On the green is type fifth button.
File browser.
Yep. So Kamaljit, you can also look into this. You can. This is also one of the way from where you can browse the output file which will be created.
Yeah. Somehow when I did 127 and on the browser, it gave me some distinct error.
Now try. I think at that time your 127 was not enabled somehow. Now try it. It will be visible for you. So if you now Abhijat on this pencil, small pencil, if you click on that pencil, you can easily change it from here, or you can just click on the user or click on the slashes also. You can click on the slash before user on the top before the pencil. Before the pencil, a small pencil button. No. Yeah, click on the user just prior to the pencil. You are going inside your real file was in your root. Yeah. Click on this user and just slash prior this user. Just a slash out before this user. The user on which you have clicked a minute back. Either you click on that pencil which is on right hand side, little bit more right. A pencil is there. There's a pencil after user Hue.
Can you hear me, Miraj?
Yeah, I can hear you now. There's a pencil.
I cannot hear you.
You can't hear me? Am I audible, Kamaljit?
Yes,
I cannot hear you. I'm sorry.
Okay. So
you are audible.
Okay. So
I could hear both of you.
Okay, I don't know. There was some problem with the Abhijat. So this is how you can browse the files. Make sense? So any other questions anyone has? Kamaljit, I hope you are able to get the output.
I need once again this screen sharing option.
Okay. Okay, I'm sharing the screen with you. Yeah, so your output is there. You can use a Hue UI, or you can. So the file name is not this. Either you just press an up arrow, and press star also. At the end of the command, just type star also. So there's only one file, so it will just print it and press it, enter.
Okay, that's one. Second thing is, okay, that worked. Second is this.
Okay, not a problem. So just refresh it. It's not giving anything. Okay, not a problem. So
No,
go,
I closed the browser and open a new one.
not a problem. Just go back to your putty. Go back to your putty and type. So this is your output visible to you. Now
Yes.
press ifconfig. Yeah. So use this 192.168.56. There is an IP address 192.168.56.101. Use this IP address :8000.
192.168,
56,
101.
101. Yeah. Use this IP address.
Yeah, 56.101.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was 192.168.56.101
:8000.
8,000.
Yeah.
Awesome. I think now it's working.
Yep. So from here also you can browse the file system. Okay.
Good, sir. Thank you very much. Extended you what 38 minutes?
Not a problem. I want you to get the things. I'm not worried about the time. So sure. Thanks everyone. Any other question? Anyone else? Okay then. Good night, guys. It's too late for you also. So enjoy.
Thank you, everyone.
Sure. Thanks for your time.
Good night to everyone. Thank you, Miraj.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye bye.